Chapter 1185. Then, Yi Zizi's eyebrows twitched. Yi Yin instantly understood. He looked at his sister with a look that said, "Are you leaving or not?" Yi Lu used to be a very honest child, but she had been influenced by her brother recently. Actually, it was mainly because school was too boring and he wanted to go out and play. "Let's go," Yi Zizi shouted. "It's time to go out and play. It's been a long time since I brought Yenner along to act cool." "Oh Yen, little sister, keep up." Yi Yen immediately ran to the front, like a child who was set free. Yi Zizi and Kai Yin looked like little kids. They really didn't look like their aunties. When he was at the door, he was stopped. Fortunately, Yi Yen and Yi Lu were famous. Yi Yen directly said, "The dean is missing. We must find him. It's my duty." Actually, everyone knew that Yi Yen and Yi Lu were about to be taken in as disciples by the dean, and now they all had to call him eldest senior brother. If this big senior brother wanted to go out, who could stop him? Yi Yen didn't expect it to be so easy. If he had known, he would have definitely sneaked out to play. "I feel like I'm in a prison. Today I'm finally free." Oh Yang, Yi Yen bounced around and looked around. There were a lot of snacks, but the taste wasn't that great. They didn't even add any seasonings. They didn't even add cumin powder. Good chicken tastes bad. "Sister, this tonghalu is not bad. Lick it." "No licking. It's fine if you don't want to lick it. I'll lick it. It's so sweet," Yi Yen said happily. He licked it together with Yi Zizi and Kai Yun. However, Yi Lu walked beside him like an adult. "Auntie Zizi, do you have any clues?" The four of them ate, drank, and had fun in the city. Yi Yen finally got to the point, but Yi Lu had already lost interest. It was better to go to the academy and cultivate. It was even more boring outside. Yi Zizi drank the cold black tea and said with a comfortable expression, "No." "Then how are we going to find them?" Yi Lu asked blankly. Auntie Zizi was still the same as before. She wasn't that reliable. Kai Yun put his palms together. "Buddha-style searching. Auntie Kai Yun is so awesome. We're going to have some fun." Yi Yen liked Kai Yun's attitude towards life. She did whatever she wanted to do and was not in a hurry at all. Unlike his own sister, who looked like she was in a hurry right now. Kai Yun stroked Yi Yan's head. "We'll just play happily." "Auntie Kai Yun is right," Yi Yen said with a chuckle. However, right at this moment, a series of hurried footsteps came over and surrounded the four of them. The four children stared blankly at these servants. They were dressed in gray robes and held long rods in their hands. They looked fierce and fiendish. At a glance, they could tell that they were servants who relied on their master's power. Excuse me, young Master Ding." A man dressed in luxurious clothing slowly walked over. "Wow, that is the richest man in our bright mist communal country. Ding Jun. Child Ding." "That's right. Just look at the way he walks. You can tell that he has a mine at home. Child Ding is still very generous, okay?" "Indeed." The surrounding people discussed in low voices. The lackey standing beside Ding Jun shouted, "Today, young Master Ding will pay for the whole street." When this news was announced, the entire audience was in an uproar. Everyone cheered young Master Ding for being generous. When Ding Jun heard these cheers, he instantly felt as if he was floating. However, looking at those little guys in front of him, Ding Jun revealed out an evil smile. "These little kids look really good. Especially that ponytail girl, she is simply so adorable. And that ice-cold girl, she will definitely become a goddess-like figure in the future. And that slightly older girl at the side, she is so innocent and romantic. As for the boy at the side, forget about it. I will beat him up and throw him out of the city later on. Who knows, he might be killed by a different race." The surrounding people seemed to have received hush money and began to act as if they didn't see anything. "Yo, which family's young master is this?" Yi Yen stood out confidently. The flute on his waist was very conspicuous, as expected of a boy who knows how to play the flute. It is able to blow people to death. Ding Jun touched his hair and said with an insolent look, "Those who give me face all call me young Master Ding. What a coincidence, most people call me Big Brother Yi." Although Yi Yen is small, that insolent aura of his is not familiar at all. How can this kind of small figure be dealt with by Aunt Zizi and Aunt Kai Yun? "Ah, just you little guy." Tuh. Ding Jun held a mouthful of phlegm and smeared it on the ground. The yellow phlegm is so disgusting. At the very least, Yi Zizi and the others were disgusted, wishing that they could just kick this man to death. "You are truly too disgusting, I don't even want to talk to you anymore." Yi Yen frowned. "I can tolerate anyone, but I can't tolerate people who are disgusting. Little sister, come and take care of this big brother, I really can't stand this thick phlegm." Yi Lu immediately kicked him. "You can't stand it, do you think I can?" And you still call yourself big brother? When I go back this time, just watch how I complain to mother. Once you don't even take care of your little sister, everyone else will be a crazy protector of their little sister, and you will be the crazy protector of your little sister. Little brat. In this entire bright mist communal country, other than the deity institution which isn't mine, everything else is mine. Do you understand? What a coincidence. I'm a student of the deity institution. Do you know Sovereign Taiha? He's prepared to take me as his disciple, and I am currently considering whether or not I should accept him. Yi Yan stood with his hands behind his back, looking like he was soaked in sweat. Be more serious. Yi Lu really couldn't take it anymore. Can't you give your opponent some respect? Yi Yan knew what his little sister meant. He took out his flute and prepared to blow it. Meanwhile, Yi Lu covered her ears. When Ding Jun heard this, why did it sound so unpleasant to hear? You, Supreme Taiha, will take in a child like you? Little fellow, you need strength to act cool too. Yi Yan and Yi Lu's news did spread in the deity institution, but outside very few people knew about it. It was reasonable that Ding Jun didn't know them. When I, your big brother Yi, acted cool, you were still a mollusk. Everyone was confused. What was a mollusk? Even Yi Lu was confused. However, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun's faces sunk. As expected, Yi Yan became bad. He became an old driver. Although Ding Jun didn't know what Yi Yan was cursing about, looking at Yi Yan's appearance, he definitely didn't have good intentions. Little fellow, you are courting death. If I, young Master Ding, kill people here, even the deity institution won't dare to interfere. Young Master Ding, I advise you to look behind you before saying anything. Yi Yan smiled faintly. Ding Jun went into a daze. When he turned around, there was nothing at all. There was only a chill in his crotch. Big brother. What are you doing? Yi Lu protested coquettishly. She hurriedly turned around. Yi Zizi and Kai Yin didn't avoid it because they weren't human at all. End of this chapter. Chapter 1186. Little Pigeon. Yi Yan couldn't help but tease. Even smaller than my brother, yes. Ding Jun flew into a rage out of humiliation, pointing at Yi Yan and shouting, "Kill him for me." Kill? The servants around him roared and cheered for themselves. However, at this moment, a few words floated down from the sky. Cut the water with a knife and the water will flow even more. Drink a cup to drown your worries even more. A figure landed in front of Yi Yan. He was skinny and wore a black bamboo hat. His entire face was covered by a black veil. However, judging from his physique, he should be a handsome guy. This man's voice was really pleasant to listen to. Coupled with that faint sadness, it could simply enchant young girls. This was a man who could recite poems. He was too attractive. That back view was really mesmerizing. Who are you? Ding Jun asked angrily. Famous people don't resort to insinuations. I'm a pig's liver. Yi Yan's little face was embarrassed after hearing this. What an outstanding man. My brother Yi likes men like you. Poser. Pig's liver? If you know what's good for you, then scram. Do you know where this is? This is me. Can you put on your pants first before saying such harsh words? The surrounding girls don't like to look at you. The pig liver centipede sighed softly. This was basically saying, this guy can't do it, I'll do it. Only then did Ding Jun realize that he was in a neutral position. He immediately pulled up his pants. Kill them. Wait. The pig liver centipede stretched out its palm and shouted. What are you doing? Tearful eyes look at flowers, flowers don't speak, red flies over the swing. Ding Jun was speechless. Yi Yan, everyone, motherf asterisk her, just because they don't get along they start spewing out poems. Kill him. I've never seen anyone so arrogant. Do it. Wait. The pig liver centipede shouted angrily, shocking everyone. Ding Jun was on the verge of despair. What the hell do you want? Zizai Fei. Ding Jun couldn't take it anymore when he saw that pig liver hyena was about to burst out with poems again. Not only Ding Jun could not take it anymore, even Yi Yan could not take it anymore. Him blowing his flute alone was enough to make people feel despair. Who would have thought that this pig liver's recitation of a poem could make people go crazy? He had finally learned something today. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. The surrounding crowd cheered together. All of the servants could be seen running towards the pig liver meat, and then, we're all brothers, so don't be too harsh. After saying that, pig liver Danglong squatted down with his hands on his head. Bang bang bang, the scene was very messy. At the very least, Yi Yan and Yi Lu were very confused. Wasn't this guy here to save the damsel in distress? Why was it so miserable? He had thought that it was a king, but to his surprise it was a bronze. The time taken to brew a cup of tea passed. The servants were already gasping for breath and stood away. The moon shines brightly in front of my bed, and I suspect it to be frost on the ground. Beat him to death for me. Beat him until he can't speak. Fight. Ding Jun was completely confused. If he could, he really wanted to cut his head open. Another 10 minutes passed. Geese, 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 crooked neck towards the heavens song. Peth. Before he could finish shouting, he was punched. Young Master Ding, this brat is a little troublesome. We can't even beat him to death. One of the servants' hands were trembling, and the skin on his fists was broken. Ding Jun didn't know what to say now. Was this pig's liver unkillable? He actually stood up again. Right now, pig liver Denglong seemed to be so great. That majestic back view seemed to be blossoming with golden light. You are ruthless brat. Ding Jun was convinced. I have never seen such a lowly person before. Ding Jun brought his people and left just like that. The speed at which he ran was very fast, as if he had seen a ghost. Pig liver Denglong coughed lightly and slowly turned around. At this moment, the world seemed to have become quiet. Quietly, I'm coming quietly. I'm leaving again. Pig liver Denglong broke into a run. Izizi shouted coldly, Pig liver Denglong. Don't think that just because you became skinny, I won't recognize you. This voice of yours, even if you turn into ashes, I will still recognize you. Izizi immediately disappeared from where she was, and Kai Yun did the same as well. Yi Yin and Yi Lu hurriedly blocked the way, and Pig liver Denglong was surrounded by the 4 people. I Pig liver Denglong at the very least saved your lives. Is this how you repay me? Pig liver Denglong said helplessly. Seeing that there were a lot of people around, Kai Yun hurriedly formed a hand seal, and the few people all disappeared, a few kilometers away from the city. Pig's liver meat. Yi Zizi shouted again. Aunt Zizi, who is this? Yi Yin asked curiously. Yi Lu seemed to have guessed it. She looked at Auntie Kai Yun and guessed it too. Kai Yun asked curiously, Zizi, who is this? Yi Lu. It seemed like he had still overestimated Auntie Kai Yun. Yi Zizi said in a low voice, this is the famous envy. Yi Yan's and Kai Yun's little mouths had turned into an O shape. The pig liver worm sighed deeply. Yi Zizi, I'm already in this state, yet you still recognize me. Hee hee, with your accent, do you think I can't recognize you? Yi Zizi snorted coldly. The pig liver macaque took off its bamboo hat and finally revealed its face. Other than Yi Zizi, everyone else had a long face. This was truly a pig's head. Yi Yin was very puzzled. Why was it that his father's subordinates were all humans but he was a pig? The pig liver mantis might be an exception, but this was its true form. It could switch between 2-drive mode or 4-drive mode at any time. However, just now when the pig liver mantis was being beaten up by the group, it wasn't that it didn't want to fight back, but rather, it didn't move. This was also one of the pig liver mantis weaknesses. Because the pig liver mantis was the kind of person that would become stronger when encountering strong opponents. No, it should be said that once jealousy was born in its heart, it would erupt. The deeper the jealousy, the stronger the eruption of jealousy. However, when the pig liver mantis lost its jealousy, other than being unkillable, it didn't have the slightest bit of attack power, and it was no different from an ordinary pig. If one were to say who was the most abnormal person in the entire team, other than Ching Su, then it would be the pig liver mantis. When it got jealous, it wouldn't even know what its surname was. Pig liver mantis, your memory seems to be normal. Yi Zizi asked curiously. Of course, my memory is very good. Then why didn't you come back? I don't believe that you couldn't sense it. Yi Zizi questioned. The pig liver mantis straightforwardly sat on the ground. Big sister, I still want to play for a bit more. It isn't easy for me to be able to take a stroll outside, and I don't have to listen to his honor's words. How happy I am. What you said is somewhat reasonable. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun nodded their heads, expressing that they agreed. Yi Zizi continued to ask, something isn't right. Why did you conceal your aura? Fuck, that fellow Wei Chang was fighting with earth-shattering power. He definitely encountered some trouble. I thought that his honor would definitely come and look for me, so I concealed my aura. Even if I came, it would be useless. Isn't it enough for you two to be by his honor's side? The pig liver mantis rubbed onto its pig nose and mumbled. End of this chapter. Chapter 1187. Yi Zizi didn't want to talk nonsense with Yi Zizi anymore. His honor is summoning you now. That fellow Ching Su is already in a mess, and Wei Chang has also gone missing. What? The pig liver centipede's face sank as it cried out in alarm. You said Wei Chang is missing? The one who disappeared that day? How is that possible? The pig liver centipede knew Wei Chang's strength. How could he just disappear like that? Yizizi said solemnly, it's not just missing. It was very likely that he had already betrayed them. Doesn't his honor know about your personality? That's why he sent me to look for you. The pig liver hyena stood up and gazed at Yizizi. Smoke rises in the great desert, the sun sets in the long river. Speak human language. Yizizi clenched her small fist and said in a deep voice. Pig liver Ming Ming swallowed his saliva and said, if his honor needs this subordinate, I will not hesitate to die 10,000 times. If I don't enter hell, who will? I have already decided to sacrifice myself for his honor. Do you want to play for a few more days before going back? Pig liver gnome added. Everyone, at this time Yi Lu asked seriously, Aunt Zizi, what happened to Uncle Wei? I also felt Uncle Wei's aura that day. Did Uncle Wei go missing? Why did you say that Uncle Wei betrayed us? Yi Lu raised his question. Yi Yin also put away his smile, appearing incomparably serious. Uncle Wei had gone missing and rebelled? How was this possible? How could Uncle Wei be such a person? Uncle Wei's loyalty to his father could be seen by the sun and moon. He would never do such a thing. Yi Zizi stroked Yi Lu's hair. Lu, study hard with Yin. We'll take care of the family. Don't worry. Yi Zizi had forgotten that they were present. These little fellows often played with Wei Chang when they were young. Their relationship with Wei Chang was also quite deep. Who are these two kids? The pig liver macaque asked curiously. They are little sovereigns. Kai Yin added. He had originally thought that envy would give his all in a battle of life and death, but in the end, in just a day's time, this fellow had appeared on his own. Kai Yin suddenly recalled that this pig liver centipede had probably done it on purpose. Given Yi Zizi's appearance, how could the pig liver macaque not recognize her? She probably wanted to save face, so she used such a method to appear. Kai Yin's guess was correct. Pig liver stew was like this. What? His honor's child. Isn't his honor a skeleton? Does it shoot the bone marrow? The pig liver macaque was astonished. I completely don't understand what his honor is doing. The child is actually already so big, my god. Why doesn't he look like his honor at all? Shouldn't he be a little skeleton? At this time Yi Yin said, Daddy is not a skeleton. Daddy is a human, okay. Uncle Pig, you are out. His honor has turned into a human? The pig liver Denglong asked Yi Zizi in a low voice. Yi Zizi said in a low voice, that's right. Back then, when his honor was a skeleton, you were already jealous of him. Now that his honor has become a human, you will be even more jealous of him. Oh my god. Right now, I have the strength to fight against his honor. The pig liver Leopardi actually had such a crazy thought. However, pig liver Ting wasn't bragging. In the entire team, everyone would be able to fight against Yi Hua, but the probability of them losing would be very high. Only the pig liver centipede, if it was envious enough, it would still be able to fight against Yi Hua. At the very least, it wouldn't lose so badly. With your current appearance, you still want to fight against his honor, TSK? Yizizi rolled her eyes and said. The pig liver Leopardi carried on to Yi Yin, causing the latter to be startled. What are you doing? Quickly let go of me, my god, this is so scary. I want daddy. Little your honor, don't be afraid, Uncle Pig loves you. Yizizi said cautiously, alright, stop joking around, we have to hurry back. The pig liver Leopardi placed Yi Yin down. Little your honor, in the future, Uncle Pig will play with you. Right now, I have to go and help his honor work. After resting for more than 10 years, I have to work day and night again. Kai Yun said towards Yi Yin and Yi Lu, the two of you hurry back. And we have to leave now. If his honor were to find out about this, he would definitely teach us a lesson. Yi Zizi warned. Yi Lu was still fine, it was just that Yi Yin was not obedient. Yi Yin nodded his head. Aunt Zizi, Aunt Kai Yun, Uncle Pig, you all can leave first, we will be returning to the academy in a while. All right. Yi Zizi nodded her head, and the three of them instantly disappeared from where they stood. Yi Yin let out a deep sigh. Little sister, will Uncle Wei really betray us? Do you believe it? I don't believe it. Then isn't it settled? Let's go back. But before we go back, we have to go and have a good chat with that young Master Ding. Yi Yin said with an evil smile on his face, and the two little fellows disappeared from where they stood. Within Wushu Empire, Yi Hua was sitting on the throne, and Donghuang Baiji had also rarely appeared. The main reason was because she heard that Yi Hua's new subordinate had arrived. However, when she saw Yi Hua's subordinate, Donghuang Baiji was also extremely astonished. Why is it a pig? Furthermore, it is such a skinny pig. It is definitely not full yet. Subordinate. Pig liver Leopardi pays his respect to his honor. His honor. Get up. Yihua said lightly. Even though it has been more than 10 years since he last saw Pig liver Leopardi, Yihua's mood was still so horrifying. However, when he saw that Pig liver Leopardi had returned, Yihua's mood became a bit better. Qing Su's escape and Wei Chang's betrayal had already caused Yihua to be deeply worried. Pig liver Leopardi's return was finally normal, and the sadness in Yihua's heart had lessened. I am very happy that you are able to return, but I am also very curious, how did you become so skinny? Pig liver Leopardi let out a light sigh. My worries are with the bright moon following the wind till the west of the night. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun, who were at the side, the corner of Yihua's mouth twitched slightly. When did this fellow start reciting poems? Dong Huang Baiji had a whole new level of respect for Pig liver Leopardi. I didn't expect that under that appearance he would have such literary talent. He should be the most knowledgeable man in the world. Good fellow. Pig liver Leopardi also secretly sized up your wife. As expected of his honor's woman, this appearance is top-notch. Speak human words. Yihua said in a low voice. To actually dare to act coquettishly in front of me, this is enough. Your honor, you should know of my weakness as well. If I am too fat and can't even fit into my clothes, how would I be able to live in the human world and experience the feeling of a human? Yihua didn't expect that Pig liver Leopardi would have such a realization. Curiously he asked, what have you experienced? Other than love, I have experienced everything. Pig liver Leopardi said with an incomparably regretful tone. What brotherly love? After seeing my face, all of them will fall out with me. Of course, before seeing my face, we were still addressing each other as brothers. Dong Huang Baiji thought to herself, this Pig liver Leopardi seems like he wants Yihua to be the matchmaker for him. However, this face of his is probably a bit scarier than Blue Sky Hong. Yihua laughed lightly, then said gravely, Wei Chang has already betrayed us. End of this chapter. Chapter 1188. The faces of the three subordinates darkened. Yi Zizi asked gravely, Your Honor, did Wei Chang really betray us? That's right, I saw it with my own eyes and I even injured Brett. Yihua said coldly, and his eyes were emitting out coldness. To be honest, the pig liver centipede had not seen Wei Chang for more than 10 years. Its memory of Wei Chang was still from a long time ago. That brainless but very loyal man, but Kai Yun understood Wei Chang a little, but now that Wei Chang had betrayed him, it was very hard for him to accept it. That man actually rebelled. I really don't understand. Why did you betray his honor? Did the other party offer a higher price? Anyway, he just couldn't figure it out. Yihua said gravely, I'm afraid that Wei Chang has already gone to another place. Therefore, the current strategic deployment is on Qing Su. This fellow kidnapped Wei Chang's underling, and I reckon that Wei Chang's life is not in danger for the time being. However, we can't just sit here and do nothing. Your Honor, are we going to look for Qing Su first? Yi Zizi asked curiously. There's no need for that. White Bones is already looking for him. You all stand by and let me think about it. Alright, let's get together tonight. Yihua said lightly. After all, the return of the pig liver centipede could still be celebrated, and it would also be good to sweep away the bad luck. Yes. Your subordinates will take their leave. Everyone respectfully shouted and left. After his subordinates left, Yihua pressed onto his forehead. He was still a bit gloomy, and no matter how hard he tried, he wasn't able to feel happy. Dong Huang Baiji arrived behind Yihua and said softly, Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? I'm a little tired. Yihua said lightly. Right now, I'm starting to miss my life at the bar. Opening a bar and whatnot, watching cartoons and chatting with the aunties at the entrance. Sigh, how about going out to relax? I'll accompany you. Dong Huang Baiji said lightly. I'm not in the mood to relax. Yihua said faintly. You can't continue on like this, I'm afraid that you might get depressed. Dong Huang Baiji teased. After hearing that, Yihua laughed. It is fortunate that they left you behind. If not, there wouldn't be anyone who would dare to console me. Yeah, everyone else is scared to death of you. I treat you so well, but you still bully me. Baiji, help me relieve my boredom. Go to hell, it's broad daylight, Dong Huang Baiji said petulantly. It's not like I haven't tried it before in broad daylight, let's go, if not, I'm going to get depressed. I really admire you. Dong Huang Baiji was very helpless and could only accompany Yihua to relieve his boredom. In the bedroom. Dong Huang Baiji said coyly, Yi Hua. We can't retreat. Why can't I retreat? I want to retreat. This won't do. We can only press forward. Who said there's a rule? I can even do an S shape. You. I'm not playing with you anymore. Okay. I'll hold on, okay? General, you lost. Dong Huang Baiji immediately clapped her hands happily. Looking at the chess set in front of him, Yi Hua's face sunk. In the future, I will set the rules. All right, you are the boss, I will listen to everything you say. Dong Huang Baiji said with a light smile. Sometimes Yi Hua is just like a child. It's getting late. Aren't you having a celebration party? It's about time for us to arrive. Don't put on a stern face tonight, be a bit more cheerful, drink some wine and brag and whatnot. Dong Huang Baiji said tenderly. Dong Huang Baiji felt very sorry for Yi Hua. Yi Hua nodded his head, then brought Dong Huang Baiji to attend the banquet. Meanwhile, in the banquet hall, all of Yi Hua's subordinates were present. Of course, other than Wei Chang and Lai Gu, Do Fusher and White Bones were also present. Zhu Tian and Brett were also present. Zhu Tian was still in his cat form, while Brett only had external injuries which healed in a short while. However, Zhu Tian still seemed a bit weak. The pig liver macaque was very curious. Why does His Honor have so many subordinates? Furthermore, there are so many beauties. Did His Honor arrange this gathering because he knew that I was coming back? His Honor truly understands me too well. However, everyone was also looking at the pig liver macaque suspiciously. Who is this? It can't be that he is His Honor's new underling, right? Why does he look like this? Looking at the pig liver macaque, Song Kong Hong felt a bit of relief in his heart. Finally, I am not the ugliest man. At the very least, I still have a human face. I am truly fortunate. The pig liver macaque was sizing up everyone, and suddenly, it saw a beautiful figure. This caused the pig liver macaque's heart to tremble. Wow. What a weak girl, isn't this the girl that I, the pig liver macaque, am protecting? Look at that expression, she is simply like a fairy. Such a girl actually doesn't have a man by her side. My chance is here. Pig liver roast. Absolute Heaven cried out in surprise. Looking at Absolute Heaven and Brett, Pig Liver Mantis was stunned for a moment. Big Tabby Cat. How did you end up like this? Zhu Tian, damn it, it's still the same as before. Why did you come back? Brett asked calmly. You cannon woman, it was naturally His Honor who called me back. I heard that you were. Just as Pig Liver Mantis was about to speak, Absolute Heaven swung his tail, smacking Pig Liver Mantis's face. The pig liver macaque was shocked and almost spilled the beans. But this big tabby cat is really too much of a bully. I will not be jealous of you. Brett hugged Absolute Heaven, causing Pig Liver Centipede to be dumbfounded. What was going on? Had Brett embraced the heavens? Did the sun rise from the west? Just look at Absolute Heaven rubbing against me with all his might. He's practically exactly the same as me. Their relationship wasn't very good in the past. How did it become like this today? What are you looking at? This is my husband. Brett snorted. Pig Liver's jaw almost dropped to the ground. He couldn't help but moan. Absolute Heaven. Have you gone mad? You actually dare to go up to this kind of woman? Pig Liver Centipede said in a low voice. Brett's beautiful eyes turned cold. Scram. I like her, it's so comfortable, bite me. Absolute Heaven actually knows how to show off now, causing Pig Liver Centipede to be dumbfounded. This cat is fake, right? Hearing what Pig Liver Centipede said, Brett's face became slightly red. She pinched onto the cat's flesh, causing Absolute Heaven's fur to stand up from the pain. Acting cool. Pig Liver Centipede pouted his mouth. This is clearly going to be beaten to a pulp by Brett. This idiot, this kind of woman still dares to go up to me, just wait to be destroyed. Look at that soft and weak girl, that is what a woman should be. Absolute Heaven, I have something to ask you. Pig Liver Centipede said sneakily. Absolute Heaven said snappily, what is it? Do you see that girl? Absolute Heaven looked over, and discovered that what Pig Liver Centipede said was actually Mayu. Absolute Heaven was also startled. What do you want to do? Absolute Heaven had a bad premonition. Introduce me to her. Pig Liver Centipede's eyebrows twitched. Sorry, I don't have eyebrows. Brett immediately shouted out, you, come over for a moment. Absolute Heaven and Dongfang Yu were quarreling, and that was why Dongfang Yu was so far away from them. However, hearing Brett calling out to her, Dongfang Yu still walked over. End of chapter. Chapter 1189. Pig liver macaque feels that this name is very nice. She was too compatible with this person. It was as if he would protect her forever. Sister, what's the matter? Dongfang Yu asked in a low voice. Brett said softly, he wants to get to know you. Introduce yourself. Oh. Dongfang Yu didn't know what was going on and said to the pig liver macaque, hello, I am Zhu Tian's wife, my name is Dongfang Yu. Nice to meet you. When pig liver macaque heard that greeting, his pig head became crooked from happiness. But when he heard the last sentence, his pig face trembled. What? Such a woman was actually the big tabby cat's wife. Didn't this cat not like women? Back then he even said that women were dirty. Was it fragrant now? Was everything he said in the past all bullsh*t? He even said he was a germaphobe? Germaphobe your sister. Pig trotters. The pig liver macaque was speechless. She was someone else's wife. Was he going to snatch her away? What a disappointment, this kind of exquisite woman is actually following absolute heaven, this cat. Just that little needle of his, tsk. Would other people feel anything? Such a waste of such a beauty. What a pain in the ass. Have you thought it through? Absolute heaven asked calmly. Dongfang Yu said in a low voice, I want to go. Go back and face the wall. Absolute heaven said in a deep voice. The pig liver macaque at the side was stunned. Damn. This kind of woman is meant to be protected and you actually yelled at her. Was he still a man? Absolute heaven. How can you yell at others like this? This is not pleasing to the eye. The pig liver host stood in front of Dongfang Yu, looking like he was going to meddle in her affairs. Zhu Tian said in a low voice, Pig liver, I'm disciplining my wife, what does it have to do with you? Originally, I didn't want to interfere, but I just can't watch you bully others. That's why I'm taking care of it. The pig liver mane snorted coldly. Originally it was you, absolute heaven, who forcefully seized it. Then I, the pig liver mane, will definitely not sit idly by. The atmosphere at the scene was a little heavy. Dongfang Yuan said softly, Thank you for your good intentions, I am Zhu Tian's wife, I should listen to him. Dongfang Yuan was very serious, and she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. However, there is a bit of a problem with her tone. Those who are familiar with her would know, while those who are not familiar with her would think that. Dongfang Yuan spoke very helplessly, but there is no one who can help her. Pig liver centipede felt this way. Sister you don't panic. If you have any grievances just say it. I will stand up for you. Big tabby cat. Don't think that I'm afraid of you. Speaking of grievances, Dongfang Yuan had indeed been feeling very wronged recently. She wanted to help Absolute Heaven, but Absolute Heaven did not support her. Instead, he scolded her and even locked her in a room. If she dared to run away, he would beat her up. That was why Dongfang Yuan choked with sobs. Everyone was shocked to see Dongfang Yuan crying. Could it be that Absolute Heaven was abusing others? Otherwise, how could it be like this? Hearing the choking sounds coming from behind him, Pig Liver Centipede said angrily, Absolute Heaven. You still dare to say that you didn't bully him? Sister you don't cry anymore. You should leave such a person. I say Pig Liver. Are you crazy? You don't need to worry about my wife. Zhu Tian revealed his cat claws, looking as if he was going to claw you. However, right at this moment, when the pig liver macaque saw his honor, it shouted out loudly, His honor, quickly come over. Zhu Tian is already unable to continue with domestic violence against his wife. He wants to divorce his wife. Everyone, this pig liver is also not a good person. He actually wants someone to divorce. This is simply outrageous. Yi Juetian, who walked in, was a little confused. Who was this, to actually treat him as a big brother? Your Honor, there is a grievance here, we have to deal with it impartially. Pig Liver Dang was very anxious. It would be best if I can get them to divorce, that way I will have a chance. Brett reminded, Pig Liver Macaque, that is his Honor's blood-related younger brother. What? Even his Honor has a blood-related younger brother. The Pig Liver Leopardi had a look of astonishment on his face. This is too much nonsense. His Honor is a skeleton, why is this younger brother of his not a skeleton, and furthermore he looks so similar to a skeleton? It was too amazing. It turned out that the undead had brothers too. However, after his Honor turns into a human, he is indeed very handsome, causing me, the pig liver, to feel very jealous. What are you making a fuss about? A cold voice rang out. The subordinates didn't dare to be disrespectful, and they respectfully shouted out, Subordinate pays respect to your Honor. Your honorable wife. Your Honor, your madam, many blessings. Yi Hua and Dong Huang Baiji appeared, and just when they arrived they heard the quarreling sounds. Yi Hua said lightly, "Everyone, this is my subordinate, his name is Pig Liver Dang. Everyone, in the future you should walk around more often." How would Yi Hong and LV Shu dare to walk around more often? This is simply like the neighbor next door. If we walk around more often, our wives will be stolen away from us. Look, he has already taken a fancy to Zhu Tian's wife. Yes, Your Honor. The subordinates still agreed to Zhu Tian's proposal. Yi Hua nodded his head in satisfaction, then asked, "Pig liver macaque, what were you blabbering about just now?" "Your Honor. Zhu Tian is going to divorce you." Everyone, you are making things that didn't even exist seem to be the truth now. Zhu Tian hurriedly said, "Your Honor, don't listen to Pig Liver Dang's nonsense. You and I have a very good relationship. We don't have any plans to divorce." "Pig liver macaque. What do you mean by that?" Yi Hua asked gravely. He was a bit unhappy. "Are you trying to cause trouble right after coming back?" Pig Liver Macaque took a deep breath. "The spring tide brings the rain in the evening, there is no one to cross the river." Everyone, Your Honor, with your discerning eyes, can't you see that they are not suitable for each other? Yi Hua, Dong Huang Baiji. At this moment, Dong Fang Yu said respectfully, "Your Honor, these are all misunderstandings. Zhu Tian and I only had a small quarrel these few days." Pig Liver Macaque's eyes lit up. "Your Honor, did you hear that? They even quarreled. We definitely won't be able to continue living like this. It would be best for us to let go of each other as soon as possible." A few black lines appeared on Yi Hua's brows. "If I were to let go of the other party just like this, I would have to let go of my wife countless of times already." "All right. You don't have to get involved in other people's family matters." "Your Honor, look at yours wrong. Look, all right, don't say any more. Today is a welcoming dinner for you. Don't make me scold you," Yi Hua said coldly. Pig Liver Macaque pouted his mouth, then said respectfully, "Subordinate obeys." Yi Hua sneakily took a look at Dong Fang Yu. Looking at this wronged look, Pig Liver Macaque, will definitely find evidence and free you from this matter. This Zhu Tian isn't a human. He bullies others like this. He is too vicious. He must have definitely been bullied by Brett, thus he decided to take revenge on you. He is too shameless. Very quickly, the dishes were served and all of the dishes were made by Blood Demon. As a royal chef, it was still very difficult for everyone to eat Blood Demon's dishes. This is the taste of home. End of this chapter. Chapter 1190. Yi Hua raised his wine cup and said gravely, "Recently, the group has been a bit depressed. Tonight let's play. After a few more days. Those who are going to train their bodies. We are going to set off soon." "Your Honor, subordinate has something to report." Zhu Tian stood up and said gravely, "What is it?" "Dong Fang Yuan is withdrawing from the training this time." Zhu Tian said respectfully. "No." Dong Fang Yuan who was sitting at the side immediately said firmly. Pig Liver Macaque didn't say anything. Yi Hua slightly wrinkled his brows. "Have the two of you finished discussing it?" "We have. You won't be going." As the head of a family, Zhu Tian had the right to speak. However, this time Dong Fang Yuan didn't seem to be so easy to deal with. "No, Your Honor, I want to go." Dong Fang Yuan said lightly. Her tone was clearly firm, but Dong Fang Yuan said it to be soft. Zhu Tian looked at Dong Fang Yuan and said lightly, "You don't mess around. Be obedient." "Oh, you? Do you believe that I won't slap you?" Zhu Tian raised his little paw and threatened. Pig Liver Macaque shouted out, "Your Honor." Look at Zhu Tian. Everyone quickly look. Little sister you is simply living in an abyss of suffering. Everyone, Dong Fang Yuan lowered her head and even slightly closed her eyes, enduring Zhu Tian's slap. Brett, who was at the side, couldn't bear it anymore. "Zhu Tian, what are you doing? You are even hitting her." Zhu Tian was also angered just now. Dong Fang Yuan had always been obedient, and for her to suddenly resist, Zhu Tian wasn't used to it. "Since little sister Yua wants to go, then let her go. What's the point of you stopping her?" Brett said a sentence of fairness. Dong Fang Yuan looked towards Brett with a grateful expression. "Finally, someone is speaking up for me." "Brett, you." Zhu Tian felt a bit uncomfortable. Are these women going to rebel? Yi Hua took a deep breath and said faintly, "Everyone has the right to make their own decisions. You is not your slave. She has her own choice even if she can't come back this time." "Thank Your Honor for understanding you Dong Fang Yuan said with a smile. Absolute Heaven shut himself off. Wasn't I doing this for your own good? Alright, this matter shall end here. Today there isn't any difference between a superior and a subordinate, ha. Yi Hua shouted out and took the lead to gulp down a mouthful of wine. Everyone present was a hero. Regardless of whether they were men or women, whether they were human or not, all of them were speechless. Slowly the atmosphere began to become lively. It was a pity that Lai Gu wasn't here, if not Yi Hua would definitely be ridiculed. Only this fellow Lai Gu dares to tease his honor, the others are still rather steady. Your Honor, to be honest, they are really going to split up. The pig liver macaque said drunkenly. Absolute Heaven was also a little drunk. He immediately heard Pig Liver Lizard's words. Pig Liver Lizard? What do you mean? Are you trying to poach him? A straightforward person doesn't resort to insinuations. I like your wife. Pig Liver Denglong stood up and shouted. The scene became quiet. Then he began to brag again. There had been cases of people causing trouble after drinking before. Pig's liver. Believe it or not, I'll beat you until you can't take care of yourself. Yo-ho. I don't believe it. Let's make a bet. What kind of bet? If I win, give me you air. If I lose, my life is yours. Pig Liver Ho's heroic spirit soared to the sky. At this time he was especially serious. Everyone quieted down. Zhu Tian was stunned for a moment before he said in a cold voice, Good. I'm going to take your dog life. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The two of them were serious. Brett grabbed Absolute Heaven by the back of his neck. Is there something wrong with you? I bet on my wife. Dongfang Yu bit her lips as her beautiful eyes became watery. How pitiful, she was used by Absolute Heaven to gamble. Pig Liver Dandelion hurriedly said towards Yi Hua, Your Honor. You heard it just now. I, Absolute Heaven, have already agreed to it. As one of the 7 deadly sins. If word of this gets out, even Ten Kun can chase after him. And everyone heard it. Everyone immediately turned around and drank as if it was none of their business. Even Yi Hua was astonished. Donghuang Baiji, who was at the side, didn't know whether to laugh or cry. These people. After drinking, they don't even know what their surnames are anymore. Sure. Whoever was a coward was a grandson. I won't kill you. You've been staring at my wife since you came in. MD. It's all because of you. Absolute Heaven became angry. This fellow has clearly taken a fancy to you. Alright. Let's go out and do it right now. Pig Liver Dandelion's face turned red. Alright. Brett slapped onto Absolute Heaven's head. Idiot. You are still a cat. After being slapped, Absolute Heaven seemed to have sobered up a lot. Where am I? What did I say just now? What's the matter? Say something. Don't you dare to any more. Pig Liver Dandelion said aggressively, not giving in at all. Absolute Heaven looked towards his honor, saying, Your Honor, please say something, I was just speaking nonsense just now. Absolute Heaven then looked towards Dongfang Yu and discovered that Dongfang Yu was feeling very uncomfortable. Absolute Heaven rubbed onto Dongfang Yu's hand, expressing that he was drunk just now and didn't have the intention to gamble with Absolute Heaven. This was the first time Dongfang Yu saw Absolute Heaven acting coquettishly. Even if you beat me to death just now, I would still be angry, the kind that can't be coaxed. Yi Hua said in a low voice, Alright, this is all nonsense after drinking, forget it. Pig Liver Dandelion, sit down. Absolute Heaven, you coward. Pig Liver Dandelion stretched out both of his hands and flicked his middle finger at Absolute Heaven. This angered Absolute Heaven. Fine. When I recover, I will take your life. I was just waiting for you to say this. Pig Liver Dandelion snorted coldly. Alright. Are you two done arguing? Are the two of you sick? Yi Hua shouted out, and only then did the two of them calm down. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun, who were sitting at the side, shook their heads. These two idiots. Originally, I thought that after Pig Liver Dandelion came back, it would be a bit quieter, but I didn't expect that the moment this fellow came back, he would cause trouble. He actually took a fancy to Absolute Heaven's my God. And he even wanted to gamble his life with Absolute Heaven. He is sick. He is very sick. Afterward, the atmosphere became a bit quiet. Drinking without an atmosphere is a very awkward thing. Thus, Yi Hua didn't plan to continue drinking anymore. Alright, let's stop here for today. Everyone disperse. Yi Hua said gravely. His mood was bad again. Also, if the two of you were to act recklessly, you will have to bear the consequences. Everyone who wants to go and train their bodies. Since you have already signed up. All of you go. I have given you two a chance. Now, I'm not giving you two a chance anymore. Whether you two will live or die will be up to your luck. Yi Hua said coldly. However, right at this moment, Sun Fang saw that Death Mage was acting a bit strangely. What's wrong? Sun Fang asked concernedly. GGG, Imperial Translation. Master is calling me? Red light could be seen emitting out from Death Mage's eyes as he suddenly stood up, giving everyone a fright. End of this chapter. Chapter 1191. Yi Hua looked at Death Mage with his brows tightly knitted. Your Honor, everyone, this atmosphere is really good. Death Mage could be heard speaking in human language. Everyone was shocked, speechless. This is still Wei Chang's voice. The one who was the most shocked was Tang Wei. How could I not know Wei Chang's voice? But Uncle Wei's voice, why did it become so frivolous and even very evil? Tang Wei, who was originally going to be happy, felt that things weren't that simple. Yi Hua's face did not have any fluctuation. If I were to have any expression on my face right now, I would be giving the enemy a chance to laugh at me. LV Liang and Yi Hong were also incomparably shocked. This is really Uncle Wei's voice. It feels like he is a villain. Didn't Uncle Wei go missing? Why did he let Mage Brother Death Mage come and pass on my message? Your Honor, subordinate hasn't even returned yet, and you are already having a celebration. Death Mage spoke in human language with a strange tone, causing everyone's hair to stand on end. So it is Pig Liver Denglong who has returned? No wonder Your Honor is in such a good mood today. Other than a few important people who knew that Wei Chang had rebelled, the others actually didn't know about it. Therefore, towards Wei Chang's strange words, everyone was very surprised. Uncle Wei, how can you use this kind of tone to speak to His Honor? Where are you? Tang Wei couldn't help but shout out. If His Honor gets angry, you will have to beg for forgiveness again. Death Mage looked towards Tang Wei and opened his mouth, seemingly as if he was smiling. Xiao Tang, it has been many days since we last met. You have become a bit skinny. Wei Chang said lightly, but no one could hear the concern in his tone. Uncle Wei, just what are you trying to do? Don't use this kind of tone to speak to me anymore. If not, His Honor will really get angry. Let him be angry then. Wei Chang said gravely. Everyone took in a breath of cold air. Wei Chang actually addressed His Honor as him. This is a huge disrespect towards His Honor. Furthermore, from what Wei Chang said, everyone could tell that Wei Chang might have already. The people who had a good relationship with Wei Chang were immediately confused. Why would Uncle Wei be like this? Tang Wei's face was pale and she was on the verge of collapsing. If not for Li Hun supporting her, she might have already fainted. Pig Liver Denglong sneered. Wei Chang, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for more than 10 years, you have already changed. Today you have made me feel that you are very interesting. Pig Liver, people change. This is the human nature that I've learned. Your Honor, am I right? A faint killing intent emerged from the Pig Liver macaque. Wei Chang. Don't let me see you or you'll die. Pig Liver Meat, I am looking forward to that day, don't you think so, Your Honor? Yi Hua said faintly. Wei Chang, properly cherish the time that you have left because there isn't much time left. Your Honor, your method of threatening others is still as lowly as always. I'm much better now. Because I'm going to kill you. Wei Chang said with a cold intent. The temperature of the whole room seemed to have dropped. When Tang Wei heard these words, she felt as if she was struck by lightning, and her head was buzzing. Uncle Wei, what's wrong with you? That's definitely not what you want. Tang Wei said in disbelief. She was completely unable to accept such a thing. Back then, she had followed Uncle Wei because she saw that Uncle Wei was an honest person. After so many years, Uncle Wei had taken good care of her. Uncle Wei is definitely a super good husband. Other than not being able to satisfy you, Uncle Wei is able to satisfy everything else. Wei Chang turned his head and looked towards Tang Wei, then said lightly, Xiao Tang, you are still innocent right now, you should find someone else. Hearing these words, Tang Wei didn't dare to believe it. Even everyone was unable to believe it. Could it be that the reason why Wei Chang didn't touch Tang Wei all this while was because he knew that I was going to betray him? If that's the case, everything would make sense. Wei Chang's betrayal wasn't just a spur of the moment, he had been thinking about it for a long time. Even Dong Huang Baiji felt the same way. In the past, Tang Wei would always come and find me for a chat, but from the looks of it now, in actuality, Yi Hua also didn't expect that things would actually turn out like this. However, the truth was right in front of my eyes. A betrayal is a betrayal, there's nothing much to say. Tang Wei couldn't take the blow anymore and fainted. Her head felt like it was going to split open. Words like heart-tearing and lung-splitting were no longer enough to describe what Tang Wei was feeling right now. Wei Chang let out a light sigh. Women are always so sentimental, why can't they just part on good terms? You can scram now. Yi Hua said coldly. Of course I will, but I have to bring my underlings away, I am a bit lacking in manpower right now. Wei Chang said lightly. The meaning behind his words was that he was going to bring Death Mage away. This caused everyone's expression to darken. Sun Fang immediately shouted out, Wei Chang, you dare. Sun Fang, he is my underling. To put it bluntly, he is just a skeleton that I summoned. Even if he dies, I can still continue to summon him out. Wei Chang. Sun Fang shouted out angrily. Death Mage bowed towards everyone. GGG? Imperial translation. I'm sorry, everyone. After finished speaking, Death Mage disappeared from where he was. Sun Fang wanted to hug onto Death Mage, but in the end she only managed to grab onto air. At this moment the air froze and no one said anything. Only a faint sobbing sound could be heard. The sobbing sound came from Sun Fang, and Tang Wei immediately fainted. Yi Hong and LV Liang didn't know what to say, and the image of Uncle Wei in the past kept replaying in their minds. That Uncle Wei was so amiable, even if you did something wrong, he would still come and console you and enlighten you. However, what happened just now? LV Liang and Yi Hong were unable to understand. They were completely unable to understand. Yi Hua said gravely, it is just like what everyone has seen. Wei Chang has already betrayed everyone. After finished speaking, Yi Hua disappeared from where he was. I didn't expect that Wei Chang would even want to bring Death Mage away. I reckon that Yi Hua just wanted to use Death Mage to satisfy his craving for words. Seeing that Yi Hua had left, Donghuang Baiji followed after him. Yi Hua still has to watch over Death Mage properly. If not, what should I do if he takes things too hard? After Yi Hua left, all of the subordinates became lifeless and lifeless. Something like betrayal would only cause the morale of everyone to become low. Furthermore, the one who betrayed was Wei Chang, and Death Mage was gone as well. A strange atmosphere pervaded the entire team. Everyone didn't leave, they just sat there quietly and accepted this fact. However, in the southern region, a bonfire was lit on the vast and empty yellow sand, and a few people were surrounding the bonfire and enjoying their dry rations. These people were naturally Long Outyen and the others. After coming out, Long Outyen had always been on Long Outyen's back because he heard that there was a place called Wuxia Empire in the north, and that place seemed to be very safe. Therefore he wanted to go over and take a look. However, that place was very far away, and if he were to walk with his child, it would probably take him a few years or even more than 10 years. That place was too far away. Are we really going to Wuxia Empire? Jiuyi asked gravely. Long Outyen saw that Jiuyi's expression was a bit strange, so he asked curiously, Jiuyi, what are you doing? I'm sweeping the tombs during the Qingming festival, that's why I'm late. End of this chapter. Chapter 1192. Jiuyi was also starting to panic in his heart. When I heard the name Voidless Realm, Jiuyi felt that Voidless Realm is very similar to Voidless Realm. Is this related to that Voidless Realm or not? This was what Lord Jiu was worried about. Lord Jiu said in a low voice, let's take a look first. If it's safe, we'll stay here. Chaos is the root of a fallen leaf. That's the only way. What do you think, Meng Meng? Outyen, you can make the decision. The child and I will follow you. Meng Meng was still as considerate and gentle as before. At the very least, Lord Jiu was very envious of Long Outyen for having a woman like Meng Meng. However, when Lord Jiu looked at his grandson beside him, he couldn't help but ask in a low voice, when do you plan to cure him? It's not a good idea to drag on like this. Lord Jiu, don't worry. I've been practicing a new acupuncture technique recently. I've improved it and I'll be able to start in a few days. The corner of Lord Jiu's mouth twitched. You're treating someone else as a test subject. It just so happens that there's one and you can test it out. In any case, he had been calling her father for a few months. There should be some feelings. Long Outyen looked at Lord Jiu's disdainful gaze and asked curiously, Lord Jiu, what's with that look? Can't you understand the look in my eyes? Yes, please tell me, Ninth Master. I'm convinced. Jiuyi turned his body slightly, and the only thing that was missing was cupping his hands. Long Outyen said attentively, Lord Jiu, don't worry. This is a top-notch mantra. It won't kill you. You can be my grandfather for a while longer. Lord Jiu, Xiao Bao, who was lying at the side, scratched his head and then lay down to sleep. As usual, Death Assassin was meditating. Suddenly, it heard a summons from its master. This made Death Assassin very happy. Master still remembers me. Hearing the order passed down by its master, Death Assassin naturally had to respond respectfully. Seems like it's time for me to leave, of course. Long Outyin realized that his master was behaving strangely just now. He seemed to be very happy. If being happy was considered an anomaly, Death Assassin could be seen making hand gestures, causing Ping Luoling to become silent. Even Jiao Yi was able to make out a few words. Leaving? What was going on? Meng Meng seemed to be even more anxious. She shouted in a sweet voice, "Why do you suddenly want to leave?" Death Mage continued making hand gestures. Seeing this, Meng Meng fell silent. Even Long Outyin was speechless. How could he not go when his master summoned him? Everyone fell into a state of reluctance. Long Yang seemed to have understood as well. Standing beside Death Assassin, he slightly raised his head and held onto those eerie white bones. "Great Master, please don't leave." Long Yang said pitifully. He hoped that he would be able to get Death Assassin out by acting like a spoiled child. However, Death Assassin had no choice but to leave this place and continue signing. "I'm sorry everyone. I'll be leaving first." Death Assassin made a gesture with an apologetic expression. In actuality, the biggest gain from this mission was probably to bump into Long Outyin. Originally he was just monitoring Long Outyin, but he did not expect that it would become like this. Long Outyin knew that he wouldn't be able to make him stay today. He stood up and said respectfully, "Master, I've learned a lot of things from you." "Thank you." Death Assassin made sign language and told Long Outyin that they would naturally be able to meet each other in the future. Stretching out his hand, he touched Long Yang, who was reluctant to part with him, then patted Meng Meng's shoulder. This couple had accompanied him during his most boring time. Right now, Master finally remembered me. A black whirlpool appeared at the side, and Death Assassin turned around and walked towards the whirlpool. "Master!" Long Outyin shouted out. Death Assassin stopped his footsteps, and Long Outyin knelt on the ground and said, "Master, please accept disciples 3 kowtows." Jiao Yi looked at Long Outyin and discovered that Long Outyin had truly changed. If this continues, Long Outyin would definitely be able to become someone outstanding in the future. It is just a matter of time. After the 3 kowtows ended, Long Outyin said lightly, "Master, don't worry, disciple will not embarrass you." Death Assassin was very gratified. He no longer hesitated and stepped into the whirlpool, and the whirlpool disappeared. After Death Assassin disappeared, everyone was very depressed. "Outyin." Meng Meng called out in a low voice. "Mom?" Long Yang hugged onto his mother's leg and cried loudly. And when Chu Yuxuan, who was at the side, saw that his little brother was crying and was still hugging onto his mother, he opened up his arms and rushed over. Long Outyin's expression sunk, and he immediately moved over to block Long Outyin. "Daddy, Long Outyin, what kind of sin did I commit?" "Outyin." Jiao Yi knew of Death Assassin's strength, and right now that Death Assassin suddenly left, the entire team's backing immediately disappeared. Long Outyin knew what Jiao Yi wanted to say. "Jiao Yi, let's head to the north to Wushu Empire." Long Outyin decided to head to that Wushu Empire. Jiao Yi was originally considering, but following Death Assassin's departure, he could only head there. Right now he still has to find a safe location. "There are still people chasing after us, we can't afford to get injured." Long Outyin carried Meng Meng in his embrace and said lightly, "Everyone rest well for tonight, we will set off tomorrow." After finished speaking, Long Outyin raised his head and looked towards the sky. "The moon is very round, but I heard that there is no moon in the north and there is only snow. Seems like I have to prepare something to resist the cold. I wonder if I will be able to smoothly walk into Wushu Empire." Right now, within Wushu Empire, Yi Jueqin once again arrived at the prison. Gong Yu sat cross-legged. Although she wasn't cultivating, she was still cultivating her nature, allowing her soul to obtain a kind of sublimation. Hearing the slight footsteps, Gong Yu knew that Ju Tian had arrived, and with a joyful look on her face she stood up. "Ju Tian?" Her voice was very sweet, and it was so sweet that it could make one's stomach feel sweet. Yi Jueqin walked to the side of the iron bars, then said with a slight smile, "How have you been these few days? There aren't any bugs here, right?" "And there aren't any." "Ju Tian, you don't have to worry, this place is just a bit dark, but there isn't any strange smell. The food here is also good and it is also very quiet. I was able to properly reflect on my own actions," Gong Yu said with a gentle smile. However, when Yi Jueqin looked at Gong Yu, who was in front of him, he really wanted to make himself like her, but no matter what, he just couldn't. "Ju Tian, what's wrong?" Gong Yu saw that Yi Jueqin's expression was a bit strange, so she asked curiously. "Gong Yu, I might have to go out for a period of time." "Oh, for how long?" "It won't be a problem for a few years," I will just wait here for you to come back. Gong Yu revealed out a gentle smile as if saying, you don't have to worry about me. Yi Juetian lowered his head, then looked towards Gong Yu. This time I am going to train and the danger is very high. Train? Very high? What? Gong Yu didn't understand and asked with doubt. I am too weak, I want to improve myself, make myself stronger and protect the people around me. Chapter 1193. Gong Yu lightly bit her lips. She knew why Yi Juetian wanted to become stronger because Yi was currently very strong. Only by becoming stronger can Yi Juetian be worthy of Yi. Gong Yu didn't say anything and just squeezed out a smile. Of course, Yi Juetian could tell and said in a low voice, Gong Yu, I will take responsibility for you if I can come back alive. Where are you going? When Gong Yu heard this, she immediately became nervous. Yi Juetian took a deep breath, going to a place filled with ancient divine beasts and ferocious beasts. 9 out of 10 chances of survival. Can I not go? Gong Yu was in disbelief. You are willing to die for Yi. I really can't accept this. Gong Yu, I must go. I owe you too much. Yi Juetian said in a low voice. He had to clear up what he owed Yi. He had caused her to suffer and of course there was also Gong Yu. No matter what, he had slept with her. This was a fact. As a man he had to take responsibility. Gong Yu lowered her head in silence. If I didn't come back, I would have asked Big Brother to let you go. Yi Juetian said in a low voice. Shut up. If you don't come back, I'm going to bang my head against the wall and kill myself here. Gong Yu roared angrily and tears instantly flowed down her cheeks. In the past, Gong Yu indeed had a bit of a liking for Yi family. Yi family's strength was valiant, but right now, Gong Yu only truly liked the man in front of her. For him, Gong Yu was also willing to sacrifice, and she only hoped that her sacrifice would be able to be repaid. Yi Juetian didn't expect Gong Yu to have such a big reaction, and he was a little astonished. Gong Yu, go, I'll wait for your return. No matter how long it takes, if I'm released one day, I know you won't be able to come back. I'll accompany you. Hearing these words, Yi Juetian's entire body trembled. Was this not touching? Yi Juetian was not made of stone, and he could sense Gong Yu's sincerity. He stretched out his hand and gently wiped Gong Yu's face. Her tears were still warm, making Yi Juetian feel quite heavy. I will be back, Gong Yu. When the time comes, I will bring you out. Yi Juetian said seriously. Tears streamed down Gong Yu's face. This was the first time that Yi Juetian had seriously touched her and looked at her with a serious expression. He finally realized that whatever he did now was worth it. Jutian, be careful. And I will. Yi Juetian hardened his heart and turned around to leave. Gong Yu's sobs rang out in the heavenly prison. Yi Juetian left without any hesitation. When Yi Juetian arrived outside the heavenly prison, he saw his elder brother standing outside, and he was slightly startled. Big brother? Little Tian, you'll be going to Cultivate in a few days. This time you'll probably be gone for a few years or maybe a few decades. It's hard to say. Take this jade fragment with you. If anything happens to Yi, this jade fragment will shatter. At that time you can go and save her. Yi Juetian stretched out his hand to receive the broken jade and said gratefully, Big brother, thank you. Patting onto Yi Juetian's shoulder, Yi Hua said lightly, You will always be my blood-related younger brother. Big brother, if something happens to me, can you let Gong Yu go? Let her go. All right. Yi Juetian didn't expect that his big brother would actually agree so readily. Thank you, big brother. Yi Juetian hugged onto Yi Hua. With a trace of a smile on his face, Yi Hua patted on his little brother's back. You have to be careful, mother and big brother are waiting for you to come back. Yes, I will definitely come back. Of course big brother believes in you. At this moment, the relationship between the two brothers improved by quite a bit. To be honest, Yi Hua didn't really want his little brother to take the risk. If he didn't interfere, it would indeed be very dangerous. However, if he interfered, it would be meaningless. It would be better for him to just stay here and play. In the end, men have to grow up and children have to be let go. Time passed by very quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was time for everyone to set off. During these few days the team was very quiet. Those who were going to leave were all cherishing and accompanying the team. Who knows if they would be able to come back alive or not. Early in the morning, the wind was gentle and the sun was bright. This was only Wuxia Empire, and the cold wind was still howling outside. Within the palace. Today Yi Hua was also dressed neatly, and Donghuang Baiji was also dressed neatly. The atmosphere was a bit heavy. Dongfang Yu appeared today, and Zhu Tian seemed to still be unable to endure it. However, his gaze was also filled with worry. During these few days, Pig Liver Macaque had been very obedient and didn't go and cause trouble. Pig Liver Macaque knew that his honor's mood wasn't good, and thus, he wouldn't cause trouble for this kind of thing. When his honor calms down, it will be time for me to cause trouble. Tang Wei seemed to have become even more resolute. Only by obtaining powerful strength will I be able to find out why Wei Chang betrayed us. It is impossible for Uncle Wei to be sentenced to death. When the time comes, I must definitely find Uncle Wei and ask him. If Uncle Wei really betrayed us, then I will have the strength to fight against Uncle Wei. Of course, this is the worst-case scenario. Yehua slowly stood up and said to everyone, all good things must come to an end. I will respect your decision. I hope that you all can defeat yourselves. Defeat your opponents. Come back with glory and glory. I will hold a welcoming dinner for all of you. Your Honor. Everyone shouted out respectfully. Yehua let out a breath. Have you all brought the things? We are all prepared. The people who were about to set off shouted out. Yehua nodded his hand, then flicked his finger. A white whirlpool appeared beside him, and from within the whirlpool, one could see that it was a beautiful world. However, do not be fooled by the appearance of the world. The more beautiful something is, the more dangerous it is. To Yehua and Seven Sins, the inside of the whirlpool was a playground, but to them, the inside of the whirlpool was hell. If you have anything to say, just say it now. Yehua said gravely. It seemed like absolute heaven wanted to entrust Dongfang Yu with this task. However, it seemed like he could not let go of his face. In the end, it was Brett who went to advise Dongfang Yu. LV Liang hugged his wife, and Yi Hong also hugged Zishan tightly. Tang Wei and Drifting Soul were in a more miserable state. One betrayed and the other was kidnapped. However, they were all very strong and their courage was commendable. Yi Hua walked to the front of Yi Juetian, then patted onto Yi Juetian's shoulder. Little Tian. Good luck. Yes. Big brother, I won't embarrass you. Yi Juetian said seriously. Very good. As expected of my younger brother. Yi Hua was very satisfied with his younger brother's attitude. This is what a man should be like. Looking at his subordinates, Yi Hua felt that in the next few years, he might not be able to celebrate the new year together and have a reunion dinner. However, the sorrow of separation would be the joy of reunion. Yi Hua was looking forward to that day. Yi Juetian, Tang Wei, LV Liang, Yi Hong, Dongfang Yu, and Li Hun stood at the side. Yi Zizi shouted, all the best. I'll wait for you to come back so we can play together. Zhu Tian looked at Dongfang Yu and finally spoke. I will wait for you to come back, Yu. A smile appeared on Dongfang Yu's face. There is a saying, even if I die, I will come back. Chapter 1194. Pig Liver said happily, although we have not known each other for long, I still want to get to know you all again, so you must definitely come back. After finished speaking, he even patted on his chest, looking very encouraging. Zishan sobbed and shouted out towards Yi Hong, damn you, if you don't come back, I will make you a cuckold. Yi Hong, such a heavy atmosphere, you are actually talking about this. Look at how his honor is smiling, can you be a bit more serious? Right at this moment, Sun Fang walked out from the group and stood beside Tang Wei. Sun Fang? Yi Hua asked puzzledly. Your Honor, I want to go too, I have already thought it through. Sun Fang said respectfully. Death Mage's departure let her know that strength was also very important. Yi Hua knew what Sun Fang meant and did not stop her. Then another three figures walked out from the group, and they were actually Lai Gu's three wives. Yi Wenxia and Bai Xiaojun. Your Honor, we want to go too. Yi said respectfully. Yi Hua asked gravely, what are you all going to do? Bai Xiaojun belonged to the type of person that relied on humans, but right now she was exceptionally firm. Your Honor, we are going to detoxify Lai Gu's poison. Yi Hua did not say anything and swept his gaze across his subordinates. Within the group, they were considered to be the weaker ones. Right now, all of them finally realized that without powerful strength, they wouldn't be able to protect the people around them. All right, I will be waiting for your triumphant return. Yi Hua shouted out straightforwardly. Wei Chang, bring the wine over. Yi Hua shouted out subconsciously. However, the atmosphere seemed to have become quiet, and Tang Wei seemed very gloomy. Luo Ho walked over with a bowl of wine. Your Honor, the wine is here. Yi Hua nodded his head. I forgot that even Wei Chang got cheated. After finishing this bowl of wine, you all can go. Yi Hua raised the bowl of wine in his hand and drank it in one gulp. Everyone else did the same. Your honor, subordinate will not throw your honor's face. And yourselves as well. Yi Hua added. Yes. Yi Juetian was the first to jump into the whirlpool, and Tang Wei followed suit without hesitation. The green and red brothers were the same as well. Everyone jumped into the whirlpool. In an instant, half of the entire group disappeared, and the group seemed to have calmed down a lot. Yi Hua kept the whirlpool, then said to the remaining people, "Remember, they are currently training, and if they were to help us, it would be meaningless." Understood. All the subordinates shouted respectfully. However, right at this moment, South Wuxi's Guangsha said respectfully, "Your honor, it was hard for subordinate to say just now, but recently I received a report that Lai Gu was discovered by someone." Yi Hua's brows wrinkled. Lai Gu was discovered? Yi Hua furrowed her brows. Guangsha, who was in charge of the order in the city, had only found out about it in the past few days. In order to confirm the news, Guangsha had personally investigated it. It was indeed so. Lai Gu, who was hiding in the valley, was discovered by someone. Furthermore, the news had already spread out. He didn't say anything just now because he didn't want them to worry. That's right, Your Honor. The news spread very quickly, and it seems like the entire north side knows about it. In a few days the south side will know about it as well. Yi Hua nodded his head. Previously, I had also considered the problem of Lai Gu's main body, but I didn't expect that Lai Gu's main body would still be discovered. Zhu Tian said respectfully, "Your Honor, if Lai Gu is discovered, I'm afraid that it will cause a very big commotion in Kangluo continent." Yeah, Lai Gu's appearance is deeply engraved in people's hearts. Yi Zizi muttered. Donghuang Baiji was a little curious. Is there a problem with Lai Gu's appearance being discovered by others? Up until now, Yi Hua still hasn't told Donghuang Baiji what kind of person he was back then. Yi Hua let out a deep breath. Seems like there is a change in the plan again. Yi Hua originally didn't plan to act so quickly, but the conflict between his subordinates caused the situation to be a bit out of control. Forget it, what is going to come will eventually come. Then prepare for battle. Yi Hua said gravely. Yes. All of Yi Hua's subordinates revealed out a bloodthirsty expression. Recently they have been feeling very vexed. Since there is someone who is courting death and delivered himself to us, then don't blame us. You don't want to walk on the bright path, yet you insist on barging into hell. You are truly courting death. Suddenly, a female official with a nervous expression stumbled into the hall. When she saw the people in front of her, she hurriedly lowered her head and kneeled onto the ground. Sweat couldn't help but appear on her forehead. Just now I felt as if I saw a demon so scary. Who allowed you to come in? Zhu Tian shouted out coldly. The female official said while trembling with fear, "Your Majesty." Your Honor, the palace maid who delivered breakfast just now reported back, said what? Yi Hua asked puzzledly. Said, Prince Ye's fiancée is pregnant. Following what the female official said, everyone was stupefied. Other than his honor, Yi Hua is probably the second man who is able to make a woman pregnant. Yi Hua was also stupefied. Little brother just left and that woman is already pregnant. Could it be that Gong Yu knew that I am pregnant and intentionally didn't tell little Tian about it so that little Tian can leave without any worries? Yi Hua guessed correctly, Gong Yu is indeed like that. This woman truly loves Yi Juetian. The things that Gong Yu did in the past were indeed malicious, but they were all done for Yi Juetian. Donghuang Baiji also didn't expect that Gong Yu would actually be pregnant with little Tian's child. If that's the case, Gong Yu definitely can't stay in that kind of place. No matter what, Gong Yu is still Yi family's child. If mother-in-law were to know about it, she would definitely be very happy. I understand, you can leave now. Yes, Your Majesty. The female official was startled. Just now, due to the matter regarding Prince Ye's fiancé, she stumbled into the hall. Right now, her entire body was drenched in cold sweat due to her own actions. A trace of a smile appeared on Yi Hua's face. The birth of a little life seems to represent a new phenomenon. This is an auspicious sign. Alright, let's end the meeting here for today. Meeting adjourned. Yi Hua said with a relaxed tone. All of Yi Hua's subordinates could feel it. Congratulations, Your Honor. What are you congratulating me for? Following Yi Hua's words, all of Yi Hua's subordinates laughed. Donghuang Baiji shook her head. Yi Hua seems to have returned back to normal. This child sure came at the right time. After all of the subordinates left, Yi Hua smiled towards Donghuang Baiji. Little Tian is rather capable to be able to make someone pregnant. That's right, someone died. Donghuang Baiji laughed tenderly. Let's go and take a look. No matter what, he is still Yi family's child. He cannot be born in that kind of place. How inauspicious is that? Dong Huang Baiji nodded her head. However, she asked curiously, that's right, Yi Hua, why did Lai Gu have such a huge reaction when other people found out about it? After hearing that, Yi Hua's body stiffened. Seeing Yi Hua's action, Dong Huang Baiji knew that this fellow is still hiding something from me. This is simply too hateful. That, Yi Hua. Alright, after I see Gong Yu I will tell you everything. However, you have to be mentally prepared. Yi Hua warned. In actuality, he also had a good idea just now. Chapter 1195. If someone was at the surface of the ocean, they would be able to see that the entire ocean had been opened up. That's right, the ocean had been opened up just like a quilt. It was simply not difficult at all. However, the ocean that was opened up formed a huge wave that was thousands of meters tall, and the wave simply covered the entire sky. It was extremely terrifying. Furthermore, this huge wave even contained the aura of the two people. It was simply going to flatten the entire continent. Most probably, even Yi Hua and the palace master didn't know about it, but even if they knew, the two of them seemed to be engrossed in the battle. Not bad. Yi Hua said faintly. This palace master is stronger than those guardians. This battle will only be interesting. The palace master smiled. You are not bad too then, are you going to get serious next? Of course. Yi Hua's gaze turned cold. From that punch just now, the palace master's strength is already on par with mine. This made me very surprised. In actuality, the palace master was also very surprised. Although he had been sealed for so many years, he had been constantly increasing his cultivation, and he didn't dare to waste any time. After all, no one would want to be sealed again after coming out. However, after that punch just now, the palace master knew that the man in front of him wasn't acting cool. He was truly formidable. It was impossible for him to underestimate the enemy. Right now, Lord Ming said gravely, the opponent is really very strong. Indeed, but the palace master's strength is even stronger. Falling Dust worshipped the palace master brainlessly. This was a fact that couldn't be changed. Looking at the back view of the palace master, Drunken Cry's gaze was also filled with passion. The palace master is really strong. He is completely not on the same level as me. However, Wei Chang didn't feel the same way. This palace master is indeed strong, but his honor's strength is even stronger. One must know that his honor isn't the king in terms of strength, rather, it is all kinds of spells that are the fatal ones. Right now, his honor is still playing, using his weak point to defeat the opponent's strong point. Right now, the palace master clenched his fists tightly, and the stones on his body immediately blossomed with dazzling light, as if he had entered into an old disco. However, Yi Hua could feel that these stones weren't that simple. It seems like they contain a huge amount of energy. His honor, next, you will be beaten to death by me. Palace master, when I beat you to death, it is as easy as pinching a cockroach to death. I'm looking forward to being beaten to death by you. Come. All right. Yi Hua's figure instantly disappeared from where he was, and the palace master did the same as well. At this level of battle, power and speed were the most important. Every single one of their fists contained the might of the world, and this power had already surpassed some cultivation techniques. Of course, it was not to say that cultivation techniques were useless, but this kind of punching was more direct. Dong Huang Baiji raised her head and looked towards the sky. Dong Huang Baiji was incomparably worried in her heart. This was the first time that she had such a feeling. In the past, when Yi Hua fought, there was no need for her to worry at all. But today it was different. The opponent was very powerful. No one was able to catch a glimpse of the two's figures. They could only see powerful auras erupting in the sky. Every time they made contact, it felt as if space itself was about to collapse. This kind of terror was not something people could see often, especially when the people of the Eastern Emperor clan saw it. Their faces were all ashen, and it was likely that they were going to die today. Your Honor, does your fist not hurt? Palace Master asked curiously. Even my fist is hurting. *CK. Yi Hua said faintly, pain? I haven't torn you apart yet. Even if she said it was painful, she wouldn't say it was painful. How about we use weapons? Palace Master didn't want to use his fist anymore. After all, with the stones on his body, only by using weapons would they be able to display the greatest effect. Yi Hua said faintly, of course I will continue to use my fist. What? Are you looking down on me? Palace Master asked gravely. You even know about this? Perhaps it is too early. Seems like, you are going to be chopped to death by me later on. Palace Master's hands could be seen condensing. A golden long rod appeared in Palace Master's hands. The rod was golden in color, and on the body of the rod, glowing stones were inlaid. When the rod appeared, all of the stones on the rod emitted out a substance that looked like electric current, and the substance wrapped around Palace Master. However, this electric current seemed to have a kind of backlash. At the very least, Yihua noticed that Palace Master's expression was a bit sinister, seemingly like he was in a lot of pain. The sizzling sound was just like barbecued meat. Yihua pursed his lips and suddenly, I really want to eat barbecued meat. Forget it, I won't think about the problem of barbecued meat for now. It seems like I am not respecting my enemy. After all, I am very respectful towards those who challenge me. At the very least, I am like that before I die. This feels great. Palace Master held onto the long rod with both of his hands and twisted his neck. His expression was incomparably comfortable, as if he just bathed in a hot spring and was baptized. Yihua could feel that the current Palace Master had become stronger than before. As expected of an opponent that has a trump card, only then will I be able to make Yihua happy. What weapon is this? Yihua asked curiously. This bundle doesn't seem to be simple. Yellow Dragon Rod of Fate. Palace Master fiercely swung the rod towards the sky. The berserk aura instantly split the sky into two. Donghuang Baiji immediately released a burst of energy and blocked the berserk aura. Luo Qin, who was standing at the side, did the same as well. The orange building belonged to the highest floor, and thus, when the highest floor was defended, the lower floor was safe and sound. Yellow Dragon Rod of Fate? The name sounds very domineering. What effect does it have? Yihua asked curiously. Naturally, I won't tell you. In a while you will know just how terrifying my current outfit is. What you have seen is just the tip of the iceberg. Palace Master seemed to be very confident. Yihua smiled faintly and said, Seems like your understanding of me is not enough. What you have seen right now is just the tip of the iceberg. I, the Palace Master, naturally know about it, but... Before the Palace Master could finish his words, his figure had already disappeared. This caused Yihua's gaze to focus as he thought to himself. This fellow's speed is so fast. A terrifying energy condensed above Yihua's head. Yihua didn't dare to be careless and immediately took out a blood-red shield. Then Yihua placed the shield horizontally above his head. Right after Yihua finished his action, the rod in the Palace Master's hand fell down. Yihua had a bad premonition. Dog-beating style ruthless strike. Bang! A boundless airwave was produced, and with the two of them as the center, the entire world instantly exploded. The space seemed to be on the verge of collapsing, and it was almost unable to hold on any longer. If the space were to collapse, then, the 9 provinces and 5 seas would be completely gone. Kacha? A crack appeared on Yihua's shield. Without giving Yihua any time to react, the shield instantly split apart. The terrifying power directly smashed onto Yihua's arm. Yihua's expression tensed up. I was too careless. Yihua's figure could be seen descending from the sky, and his speed was so fast that flames were actually created from the friction. Yihua directly smashed through the orange building and then continued, until he smashed into the depths of the sea. Chapter 1196. Back then we even had a one-night stand and you even called me daddy. Donghuang Baiji. Are you really Yihua? Donghuang Baiji asked gravely. Of course. Then why do you look like this? You can think of it as Death Mage. He just doesn't have a physical body, but I do. Then how did you make me pregnant? Did you shoot my bone marrow? Donghuang Baiji looked towards Yihua's triangular region. That fellow is gone, Yihua said snappily. Shoot your head, I have a physical body alright. Do you know what is called reconstructing one's physical body? I don't know, I only know that you are a skeleton. That's right. That skeleton from back then was also you. No wonder Wei Chang and the others were very astonished back then, even though Fusher was the same, they all know that you are his honor. Only Qingya and I didn't know you were playing with us again. Donghuang Baiji's face turned red from anger. When Yihua turned into a human, Donghuang Baiji knew that she wouldn't be able to accept it. I know I am a skeleton, you all will be suspicious of me. Yihua said sadly, then slowly sat at the side as if he was very pitiful. Donghuang Baiji was puzzled. I am the one who is angry. You are obviously the one who lied to us, yet you are still putting on such a pitiful look. Do you want me to coax you? That's why I didn't dare to tell you all, fearing that you all would leave me after seeing my current appearance. Yihua said gravely. That was indeed what he was thinking. After all, his physical body was very handsome. To suddenly tell them that he was a skeleton, the contrast was too strong. Dong Huang Baiji looked at Yi Hua with a puzzled expression. Acting pitiful again, if your subordinates were to see your current appearance, wouldn't they laugh at you? I am an undead, back then I was a deity, it was that emperor who killed me, my corpse fell onto Kangluo continent, my physical body was destroyed and I became a skeleton. Yi Hua said lightly. In the past I didn't know, but now I am able to understand. Hearing that, Dong Huang Baiji asked gravely, you are saying that you have already died a long time ago? That's right, I have already died, I became an undead without any humanity, I was detested by everyone. Just take a look at Kangluo continent and you will know the people's hatred towards other races is very high. Dong Huang Baiji nodded. That was indeed the case. The more Dong Huang Baiji listened, the more she felt pity for Yi Hua. Shaking her head, this fellow only knows how to use this method to deceive others. Qingya and I have already been deceived by him countless times. He was simply a maniac who cheated on his wife. With a straight face, Dong Huang Baiji sat at the bedside. Yi Hua stood up, then sat at the side and embraced Dong Huang Baiji into his embrace. The latter struggled a little symbolically before snorting, and then, I have told you all about what happened after that, but I want to correct a fact. Yi Hua said in a low voice. Back then he told them that there was an enemy here, but he didn't tell them where this enemy came from. What is it? Baiji, in the past I wasn't this good, and these subordinates of mine weren't this good either. Yi Hua said faintly. Dong Huang Baiji did not say anything and listened quietly. Precisely because I am a skeleton, if I want to survive, I can only cultivate diligently. I cultivate day and night, and every day I would be lingering on the edge of death. I met Yi Zizi and the others on my path of cultivation. Other than Brett, we are all outsiders and we don't have any good impression of humans. Thus, we massacred a city in the south. Dong Huang Baiji's expression stiffened. Massacred a city. That's right, massacred a city, don't leave a single person alive. Yi Hua said coldly. Dong Huang Baiji didn't dare to imagine that scene, it was too terrifying. Back then our reputation spread like wildfire in the south, and even now there are still people who are afraid of us. Back then they couldn't defeat us, so they asked the deities for help. Over 100 overlords besieged us. We couldn't defeat them and all of us died in battle. Then, miraculously, we came back to life again. Only Wei Chang and Lai Gu were by our side. After that, we opened a bar and began to reflect on ourselves, learning the fundamentals of human nature. At that time, my condition was unstable and sometimes I would lose control of myself, causing you to suffer. Yi Hua said tenderly. I don't believe that even I, the Supreme Overlord, am in such a miserable state. You still want to mess around with me and you still don't serve me well? It is very hard for me to recall these unhappy things. Baiji, you wouldn't dislike me for being a skeleton, right? Yi Hua asked. Dong Huang Baiji rolled her eyes at Yi Hua. I have already been with you for so long, and I even have 2 children. Even if you are a demon, I still have to serve you well. Hearing that, Yi Hua felt warm in his heart. Baiji, I want to treat you well. Nonsense, of course you have to treat me well. Which wife would be able to accommodate you like this? You're right, that's why I will treat you well right now. Yi Hua carried Dong Huang Baiji up. Yi Hua, what are you trying to do again? To make you happy, to make you fly. You? Don't think that you will get over it just like that, you are lying to me. I will get used to it in the future. Dong Huang Baiji hurriedly asked. Yi Hua, if Lai Gu is discovered, other people will definitely know that you two are still alive. That's for sure. When the time comes, they will attack me, but I am not afraid of them anymore. Dong Huang Baiji pressed onto Yi Hua's chest with both of her hands. Do you want to be messed with? Let's do it first, then we can talk. You? In a valley not far away, Lai Gu's enormous body was coiled up. Lai Gu slowly opened his eyes and looked at the beautiful figure on top of the mountain, then said weakly, Yu Hua, you are here again, where are the 3 of them? The 3 of them went to train. Train? Train what? Lai Gu sat up and the surrounding mountain started trembling. Yu Hua said lightly, you don't have to worry, His Honor's younger brother is also in there, and there are others as well. Yu Hua said everything that she knew. What, those 3 are actually going to such a dangerous place, I have to go and stop them. No need to go, they have already left. Already left? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Lai Gu said gloomily. They seemed to know that you wouldn't agree to it, so they joined in before they left. Yu Hua said helplessly. Aren't they living well? Why did they suddenly want to leave? Sigh, Those 3 women are really too free. They said that they want to give you face in the future. After hearing that, Lai Gu went into a daze and his heart felt warm. Those fools are really my good women. While thinking, Lai Gu directly lied down on the ground, causing a large amount of dust to fly up. That's right, Lai Gu, there is one more thing that I need to tell you. Pig Liver Denglong is back. What? Pig Liver Denglong is back? There is no problem with him? There is no problem with him, he is just very concerned about you. Wei Chang laughed lightly. He really didn't change. Chapter 1197. But in everyone's eyes, Wei Chang has changed, Yu Hua said helplessly. Lai Gu let out a sneeze, then said slowly, that is a normal thing, that fellow Wei Chang is too disappointing. However, right now the pig liver is back and your honor will be able to use it while I am poisoned and I am unable to recover. One more thing, you have been discovered by someone. Right now the news is spreading very quickly, maybe. Lai Gu suddenly stood up and cried out in surprise, causing a gale to sweep through the entire valley. What? Did someone find out about me? Yes. Is his honor angry? Not at the moment. Sigh, I messed up his honor's plan again, so annoying. Lai Gu actually used his leg to scratch onto his head. Yu Hua smiled and said, you know that too. Let's see if you will still be impatient in the future. Moonlight, what happened? I want a kiss, let's talk about it after you become a human. Yu Hua laughed and then disappeared. Lai Gu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Could it be that if I am unable to find Qing Su in my entire life, I will end up like this? If it was true, it seemed like he would have to look for the female dragon. Alas, Qing Su is a bastard. He really wanted to kill him. Right now, the entire northern region was spreading the news that there was a huge bone dragon in the valleys around Voidless Empire. Hearing about the gigantic bone dragon, everyone seemed to be able to associate it with the tragedy that had happened in the south. Could it be that the bone dragon didn't die? How could this be? Back then he had heard that all of them were dead. Does the heavens want the north to die? A few days later, the news also spread to the south. All the sects in the south were in an uproar. When the bone dragon was mentioned, everyone's expression would change. This was especially true for some of the supreme beings who were still alive. When they heard this news, they were all dumbfounded. He didn't know what to do. Was he here for revenge again? If that's true, then what should he do? He had to pray to the gods again. The situation was still unclear and no one knew if it was true or false. They could not come to a conclusion. In Meridian Break sect, Dong Huangli and God Yi were in the middle of a class. However, Dong Huangli and God Yi were listening very seriously. The main thing was that Dong Huangli was listening very seriously. Because the teacher seemed to be talking about his father's subordinates. The lecturer was an old man with many age spots on his face. However, his gaze was deep and unfathomable. One look and anyone could tell that he wasn't someone to be trifled with. More than 10 years ago, a group of 8 people appeared in the south. There were 7 men and 1 woman, and their leader was an undead. His 7 subordinates had profound skills, and they carried out an inhumane massacre in the south. Dong Huangli and God Yi listened with great interest. Are Daddy and his subordinates really that awesome? He even wanted to shout that he was their boss's child. I don't know what the consequences will be. Dong Huangli raised her hand and asked curiously, Teacher, how powerful are they? The old man looked at Dong Huangli and revealed a smile. Back then, these 8 people's strength had reached the pinnacle of overlords. Ordinary overlords weren't a match for them at all. After countless of them died, they finally prayed to a deity. With the help of a deity, we were able to emerge victorious. God Yi felt uncomfortable when he heard that. How could Daddy lose? It must be a scheme. Master, I want to hear the details, God Yi said calmly. He had the demeanor of a father. Towards Dong Huangli and God Yi, the old man was also very fond of them. At that time, we gathered 105 supreme martial artists. We invited them to fight to the death. Before that, we set up the great formation of Heaven's Wrath. God Yi knew it. Over 100 supreme martial artists fought against Daddy and the others, and they even used such a method. How despicable. Dong Huangli was also very displeased and she asked curiously, what is the great formation of Heaven's Wrath? The old man laughed lightly. The great formation of Heaven's Wrath is the deity's royal formation. This formation requires a lot of contracts, but as long as this formation is activated and the enemy falls for it, the enemy's strength will be suppressed by 30%. After hearing that, Dong Huangli and God Ye's faces turned cold. To actually use such a despicable method, Daddy actually fell for it. At that time Yi Hua was brainless and he was stubborn. And then, in exchange for that, he paid a painful price. Before that battle, we formulated a plan against everyone, found their weaknesses and attacked them. And the facts prove that. Those people were indeed very strong, but they didn't bring their brains with them. Other than fighting head-on, they only knew how to fight head-on. They didn't have the ability to cooperate with a team, and they were all individualistic. The old man's evaluation was very accurate. Back then Yi Hua and his subordinates fought head-on without any strategy. In fact, they didn't even bring their equipment with them, and they completely underestimated their opponents. God Yi said faintly, "Perhaps it's different now." The old man laughed. "God Yi, those people have already been exterminated, and they will never appear again." Dong Huangli rolled her eyes. "You don't know Daddy's strength. If you knew, you wouldn't say that." However, right at that moment, a teacher ran into the hall in a panic, then whispered a few words into the old man's ear. The old man's expression became serious and soon after, he left the hall. Dong Huangli and God Yi took a look at each other. The old man directly went to the sect leader's palace. After arriving at the palace, the old man shouted out respectfully, "Sect leader, is the news true?" Eternal Hatred's expression was very bad. "Recently, things have been coming one after another and that Taihe even went missing. I'm afraid that this news is related to this matter as well. Elder Ming, this news came from the north. As for its reliability, we still don't know yet." Eternal Hatred said while looking far away. Elder Ming stroked his beard and said lightly, "Sect leader, is there any news about that skeleton from back then? The law enforcement team is still pursuing him." "Sect leader, could Taihe's disappearance be related to this matter? Were the tremors in the south caused by those people? With all these people added together. Sect leader, we have to be on guard against them." Elder Ming stopped and said, appearing very experienced. Eternal Hatred let out a long sigh. "Elder Ming, to tell you the truth, the gathering 10 years ago was because the deities weren't clear about the other party's strength. They used heaven's wrath and all kinds of secret techniques to kill the other party. However, half of the Supremes died and some of them were heavily injured. Will they be willing to come? Even if we gather all of the Supremes in the Kangluo continent, we still won't be a match for them. The most important question is, they died back then, so why did they appear again? What have they done in the past 10 years and what realm are they at? We don't know anything." Elder Ming understood that the sect leader doesn't seem to be willing to fight anymore. He's afraid of being beaten up. Although the humans won the battle 10 years ago, those 8 people left an unerasable pain in their hearts. This kind of pain was like a nightmare that accompanied them, and they were unable to forget about it. "Sect leader, if this is true, what should our Meridian Break sect do?" Chapter 1198. Eternal Hatred said helplessly, "As long as they don't do anything, we'll pretend that we didn't see anything. Right, just call the law enforcement team back. Don't provoke them anymore. We can't afford to lose our supreme martial artists." "Yes." Yuan Ming quickly retreated. He felt that the Kangluo continent was about to change. Right after Yuan Ming left, a fat figure appeared in the hall. "Everlasting Hatred, have you heard? That bone dragon has appeared," Luan Yin said with a shocked tone. Everlasting Hatred nodded. "Of course I know. Why are you still standing there if you know? Run." Luan Yin said, "Why aren't you running? Are you waiting for others to kill you?" Eternal Hatred smiled helplessly. "Luan Yin, I am the sect master of the Broken Meridian sect. If I run away, the people of Kangluo continent will break my backbone. That's better than being killed. If those people really come back to life, they must be very terrifying. Didn't you feel what happened a few days ago? The entire southern region is like the end of the world. We don't even have the power to fight back. Luan Yin, go to the God's realm. I still have to stay and take care of this sect." "Do you like being a sect master that much? Wouldn't it be better for us to go to the God's realm?" Luan Yin really didn't understand. Was his life more important or his reputation more important? When you go to the God's realm, who will still know you? It's just like a new beginning. Besides, the Jizun is also very popular in the God's realm. "Let's go." Luan Yin even pulled Changhen back. After all, they were fellow disciples back then and their relationship was very good. Enduring Hatred shook his head. "I won't go. If the Meridian Breaking sect perishes, I will perish with it." "You pedantic man. I really want to beat you up. Do you want to be like Taiha? Are you happy that he disappeared? If it really comes to that, there's nothing I can do." Enduring Hatred smiled. After thinking it through, he felt much more relaxed. I surrender to you. The flustered and exasperated Luan Yen sat at the side and turned his face away, ignoring Chang Hen like a child throwing a tantrum. Eternal hatred also sat beside Luan Yen. What? You're not leaving either? If I leave, who will collect your corpse? I didn't participate in it that year. Eternal hatred patted Luan Yan's shoulder. Senior brother, thank you. So you still remember that I'm your senior brother? I've never seen such a disobedient junior brother. Master is about to be angered to death by you. Luan Yen patted his butt and walked out. Eternal hatred smiled bitterly and then sighed helplessly. He hoped that there would be no chaos. Right now, Yihua still didn't know that the things that we and the others did back then were already so vicious to the point that even if others knew about it, they wouldn't dare to rashly come over. Even the experts pretended that they didn't know where the bone dragon was. Seriously, they still had to go home and boil some water. However, just as Yihua was preparing to welcome a large number of people who were sent to die, he didn't see a single person coming over for a few days, causing Yihua to be puzzled. Could it be that these people are planning to secretly ambush me? Or were they gathering a large number of troops? Looks like I, the Supreme Overlord, also have to prepare to deal with them. I have to let them know that I, the Supreme Overlord, am not someone to be trifled with. There was no return. All of the subordinates started getting restless, thinking to themselves that there will definitely be a lot of people coming back this time, and at that time I will be able to kill to my heart's content. It was extremely comfortable. However, Yihua might not be able to wait for those people because those people didn't plan to come over at all. God's realm. Ever since Yi Yuanqing returned to God's realm, he started to deal with the matter of sitting on the throne. When Yi Shan heard that his daughter was going to become the emperor, he was scared to the point that both of his legs were trembling. Seeing how afraid his father was, Yi Yuanqing shook his head helplessly. Back then, how brave was his father? But now, he is afraid no matter what he does. Yi Shan was definitely afraid. If his daughter didn't succeed, then the new emperor would be the first to attack Yi family. Yi family would definitely die. However, this time Yi Yuanqing's brothers were of one mind and all agreed with their big sister's suggestion. Take a gamble, turn a bicycle into a motorbike. I've had enough of this kind of life. When Yi Shan heard that his sons were mixing around with his big sister, he shouted that Yi Yuanqing was a sinful daughter and was led astray by that unfilial son Yihua. He immediately fainted from anger. Yi Yuanqing was very helpless. I still have to do it. This time, with Shan Junren's help, I will be able to get twice the result with half the effort. After all, Shan Junren is the prime minister. Shan Yu had no choice, his father actually chose to stand on the side of Yi Yuanqing. Of course, other than Shan Junren, there was also Chen Yi, Chen Yuqing's father. This was also what Chen Yuqing had entrusted to Yi Yuanqing. When Chen Yi heard that just now, she was also quite frightened. Yi Yuanqing wants to become the emperor. Is she crazy? The emperors of the gods' realm are all from the royal family, and furthermore, there is no precedent of a woman becoming the emperor. This is truly a crazy action. If I don't help, my daughter might also suffer a calamity. This is truly a headache. However, Yi Yuanqing should have gone and asked his son-in-law before. His son-in-law is so powerful, helping his sister to become the emperor should be a piece of cake. At Yi family, Yi Yuanqing and Shan Yu were standing at the side of a pond. Yi Yuanqing was holding onto a bowl of fodder and was scattering it from time to time. This is obviously learning from Big Brother's style again. That day, Yi Yuanqing also saw Big Brother scattering like this and felt that he was very powerful. Shan Yu, who was standing at the side, had a whole new level of respect for this female general. I never expected that she would actually dare to have the thought of becoming the emperor. Just this boldness alone is worthy of being praised, no matter if she succeeds or not this time. Look at the way she scatters the fodder, it is simply too powerful. Adding on that cold and beautiful face, one can faintly see a bit of the appearance of an emperor. This woman will definitely be extraordinary in the future. Father has an ulterior motive in asking me to assist him, isn't it just asking me to chase after someone else? In the future, I will become the Empress man, no? I will become one of the many male pets. Just thinking about it made Shan Yu's entire body go numb. Forget it, I won't become a male pet anymore, I will just properly assist her. General Yi, right now, the citizens in the city are calling for you very highly, it has already surpassed the fifth prince, Huang Min. Shan Yu, who was standing at the side, said in a low voice. Yi Yuanqing placed the fodder at the side, then walked towards the stone pavilion at the side. Soon after, he sat down and poured 2 cups of water. Shan Yu, Huang Min is still a member of the royal family, he stood out amongst the many princes, he is not an ordinary person. Yi Yuanqing said gravely. I originally thought that I will definitely become the emperor, but who would have thought that after I killed Huang Min, the entire royal family would unite together to deal with me. Originally, the royal family was fighting for the throne, but now that they are united, it will be very difficult to deal with me. General Yi, you are the one that the people want. Other than the title of the royal family, what does Huang Min have? The strength of a dabbler? What capabilities does he have to sit on the throne of the god's realm? Shan Yu said in a low voice. I feel that this Huang Min is quite formidable, to actually be able to unite the royal family. Chapter 1199. Yi Yuanqing said softly, Shan Yu, our real enemy is not the royal family, but the mysterious Donghuang family. Did General Yi say that? Shan Yu asked curiously. He had also heard of this mysterious family. Yi Yuanqing nodded. Yes, my big brother told me to be careful. Even if I become the emperor, I have to be careful of the Donghuang surname. Since Prince Yi said so, then we really have to pay attention. Now we still have to seize the throne. Shan Yu actually knew that the fight for the throne this time was not so simple. Yi Yuanqing's advantage was in the army. He had his father's faction in the imperial court, and many people had yet to express their stance. Some of them were even thinking about the royal family. If Lord Yi could come back at this time, then the royal family would not be so arrogant. However, Shan Yu also knew that Lord Yi didn't come back because he wanted to train his sister. There were some things that needed to be fought for by oneself. Only then would one know the hardships involved. However, he still hoped that Lord Yi would be there. That way things would be much simpler. After all, the royal family was still very afraid of Lord Yi. Although Yi Yuanqing was Lord Ye's sister, Lord Yi did not express his stance. The royal family believed that Prince Yi had a laissez-faire attitude. Whoever had the ability would be the emperor. This was indeed Yi Hua's attitude. Of course, if his little sister was to lose in the end as the big brother, he would still have to save her. However, Yi Hua believed in Yi Yuanqing's strength. Tomorrow will be an important day. Yi Yuanqing said in a low voice and took a sip of tea. He felt that this was more tiring than being a general. Tomorrow would be the final decision and he did not know how it would end. Shan Yu said in a deep voice, General Yi, the military power in your hands cannot be wasted. Shan Yu, the royal family also has military power. But the morale of the army is with you. As long as General Yi says a word, I believe all the generals will stand behind General Yi. I know, but this is no different from usurping the throne. After all, I am not a member of the royal family. If I want to be the emperor, I have to follow the hearts of the people. Recently, the emperor has done good deeds and gained a lot of fame. He even sent people to spread the news that I want to take the throne. The hearts of the people are about to collapse, Yi Yuanqing said in a low voice. Shan Yu couldn't hold it in any longer and growled, Yi Yuanqing, how did you become a general? He wasn't decisive in his killing. This is the imperial court, just like a battlefield. You've held back. The enemy will kill you. And you're the one who's going to be the empress. There are some things that you have to make a choice. Put away your conscience. No, if I put away my conscience, what's the difference between sitting on the throne and others? I want to benefit the god's realm, I don't want to play those tricks. If you want to fight, then fight fair and square. Shan Yu held onto his forehead. My God. How did you become a general? You have to act according to the situation. This is a struggle for political power. What you do on the battlefield is useless. Then you still have to sit on the throne. You can't even sit on the throne, so how can you talk about benefiting the god's realm? Shan Yu tried his best to persuade Yi Yuanqing. If not, he wouldn't be in such a passive position. If Yi Yuanqing made a move, he would be able to counterattack. However, Yi Yuanqing wouldn't let him. Shan Yu finally knew how troublesome this woman was. She was simply intoxicating. If women were all so troublesome, he would rather not marry for the rest of his life. I won't forget my original intentions. If worst comes to worst, I'll just get scolded by Big Brother. Yi Yuanqing, do you think that it's just scolding? You are fighting with Huang Min. If Huang Min has the authority of the emperor, do you think the Yi family can still be saved? Can you not be childish? Shan Yu couldn't help but roar. This woman is simply stupid to the extreme. Father actually asked me to come and assist him. I'm going to be angered to death at any moment. Yi Yuanqing looked toward Shan Yu. Although the latter's strength wasn't strong, he still glared back at Shan Yu. I have already made up my mind. Let's meet during the morning court session tomorrow. I'm going to rest. After speaking, Yi Yuanqing returned to his room, leaving behind Shan Yu, who was standing at the same spot in a daze. If I don't move my troops, I will definitely lose tomorrow. However, Yi Yuanqing also knew about this point, but he didn't expect that it would be so difficult, to the point that even if he wanted to change his original intentions, he wouldn't be able to do it. During the 1 month that he came back, Yi Yuanqing was both mentally and physically exhausted. Sometimes he really didn't want to be an emperor anymore. Especially when he heard the slander that the people had towards him, he felt very sad. In the end, Yi Yuanqing was only a general. Being an emperor and being a general were two different things. A good general might not be a good emperor. Shan Yu had no choice but to leave. I have to go back and talk to my father about this matter, and whether or not I should support the royal family during the morning court session tomorrow. If not, Shan family is going to perish. Accompanying a monarch is like accompanying a tiger. Back then, if Shan Yu were to stand on Yi Yuanqing's side, it would mean that he was standing on the opposite side of the royal family. If Shan Yu were to lose, would the new emperor, Huang Min, be able to forgive Shan Yu? That is impossible. All of Yi family's factions are going to die. Shan Yu can't let Shan family take the risk. Therefore, when Shan Yu returned home, he immediately went to look for his father. Shan Juanren's left hand was holding onto a book, and his right hand was holding onto a teacup. From time to time, he would take a sip of the tea, appearing to be very leisurely and not worried in the slightest. "Father, why do you still have the mood to drink tea and read a book? Our family is going to perish soon." Shan Yu shouted out anxiously. "Why don't you think of a way to escape from this calamity?" Shan Juanren took a look at his son and said lightly, "How many times have I taught you, even if the sky were to collapse, you still have to maintain a calm heart, only then would you be able to judge the problem rationally." "Father, are you saying that I have lost my rationality?" "I haven't. I am very rational right now. Being so impatient, it will be hard for you to achieve great things." Shan Juanren took a glare at his son. Looking at how anxious Shan Yu was, sweat was already coming out from his forehead. Shan Yu was very unconvinced. "Father, Yi Yuanqing doesn't even have the intention to counterattack at all. He is being so passive, causing us to lose such a good situation. Right now, that Huang Min already has a 70 to 80% chance of winning. If we were to lose, the crime of our family being exterminated, father, that is indeed the case." Shan Juanren nodded his head. He was still very calm. "Shan Yu didn't understand. Father? Exterminate the family? We are not exterminating the insects. Father knows. Then why isn't father making any plans?" Shan Yu found it hard to believe. In the past, father always had a strategic plan, but now, it seems like, father has already given up on resisting. Shan Juanren placed down the book in his hand and asked his son, "Shan Yu, what do you want father to do? Tell me about it." "Father, there are only two ways that we can do right now. The first way is to ignore Yi Yuanqing. We will counterattack ourselves, fight for an opportunity and fight to the death. The second way," before Shan Yu could finish speaking, Shan Juanren said lightly, "is it to rely on the royal family's side and fight for an opportunity to survive?" Shan Yu took a deep breath, then nodded his head, "Yes." "Then, have you thought about what to do after you rely on the royal family?" What? End of this chapter. Chapter 1200. Shan Juanren indifferently said, "It's just a fate worse than death. Shan Yu, you are still too young. If we surrender, we won't have a place to stand. The emperor will find an excuse sooner or later. It's just a matter of when we die." Shan Yu didn't say anything because what his father said made sense. As early as we choose, there is no way back. Since General Yi is not willing to use intrigue, then accompany her above board. Shan Juanren chuckled. "But father, how can we win openly? We can't win at all." Shan Yu said in a low voice, his eyes filled with worry. Shan Juanren sighed heavily and slowly said, "Do you think Lord Yi will let his sister die?" After being pointed out by his father, Shan Yu suddenly understood. Suddenly he slapped his own face. It was really a loud slap. "Your son has learned his lesson. I'm still too young." Shan Yu had forgotten a problem. If the royal family wanted to deal with the Yi family, they would have to go through Prince Yi. As long as the Yi clan did not fall, the Shan clan would not fall either. Shan Juanren was shocked to see his son slap him so hard. "Don't slap yourself so hard in the future. If others see it, they might think that I'm the one who did it." "Yes, father, I will go into the house to prepare. Tomorrow will be a fierce battle. Go. Victory or defeat is not important. Calm down." Shan Juanren was still a scheming person. Lord Yi would definitely not sit idly by. When Shan Yu heard this, he seemed to gain a lot of confidence. He quickly ran back to his room and prepared his speech for tomorrow. All of this needed to be simulated in his mind so that his opponent would not be able to retaliate. However, Yi Yuanqing had his eyes closed and couldn't fall asleep at all. He felt that he was going to disappoint his big brother this time. This is really throwing away big brother's face. I can't even get my hands on the throne, my younger sister is still not ruthless enough, sigh. But right at this moment, the entire spirit capital resounded with a loud noise. Dong dong dong. The bell rang throughout the entire spirit capital, and everyone was jolted awake at this moment. Yi Yuanqing turned pale with fright. The bell that signaled the fall of Lingdu. Everyone was shocked. Nothing had happened to the body of the blade. How could it be lost? Not even a scream could be heard. Everyone was shocked. Dong dong dong. The continuous ringing of the bell reminded everyone that the spirit capital had fallen. The entire spirit capital city was instantly lit up. Everyone came out of their houses and looked on curiously. There were also many people who took to the skies. In Lingdu City, flying was not allowed under any other circumstances, unless one had the emperor's permission. As a great general, Yi Yuanqing was definitely rushing at the front. Yuanqing, why are you running so fast? Come back here. Yi Shan shouted as he followed behind. How powerful must they be in order to take down the spiritual capital? Silly daughter, why did you run to the front again? Father already lost a son, father does not want to lose another daughter. In actuality, in Yi Shan's heart, Yi Hua was already dead. The current Yi Hua was no longer the Yi Hua from back then. It had to be said that Yi Shan's sixth sense was very accurate. He even knew this. He then my In actuality, Spirit City was truly very big, and for those overlords who were flying in the sky, they would be able to fly very far in a single breath's time. However, right now, 3 breaths had already passed and they had only arrived at the entrance of the city. The 100+ people standing in the sky were the fastest overlords. However, there was not a single member of the royal family. I have to say, the royal family had already fallen. They did not even have a single overlord. But just like what Huang Min said, as a manager, why do you need strength? What you need is courage. And yet, there were actually people who believed it. This kind of theory was unheard of, but it was worth a try. But this was the God's realm, a place where strength was respected. Without strength, how could one convince the masses? Just like now, not a single member of the royal family could come out to battle. Hundreds of people stood in the sky and looked down. But outside the city, it was completely silent. There was no army, not even a shadow. The bell above the city gate was still shaking and the people were indeed gone. Everyone felt a chill down their spine. Yi Yuanqing's position was the highest. Right now, Chen Yi stood at the side and asked respectfully, General Yi, what should we do now? Investigate. We must get to the bottom of what happened tonight. Why did the bell ring for no reason? Where did the people guarding the city go? Just as Yi Yuanqing finished speaking, a ferocious and sharp aura came attacking. The speed was so fast that it made everyone speechless. This attack, the air seemed to have solidified, and everyone seemed to have been frozen in place. A ray of cold light immediately blossomed, and the tip of the sword went straight for Yi Yuanqing's forehead. Yi Yuanqing was startled, his entire body was unable to move, and he could not even take out the bell. Big Brother said as long as he was in a dangerous situation, there would be a surprise by ringing the bell. But right now, he was unable to move at all, and he could only watch as the ferocious sharp sword attacked. Right now, the cold wind was whistling, and only that ray of silver cold light was left, as if it was going to pierce through the heaven and earth. Everyone was unable to believe it. There was actually someone who used such a sword. The might of this sword shocked the 100 overlords. They were unable to move. Yi Shan looked at his daughter and suddenly let out a terrifying howl. Yi Shan, who was burning with anxiety, actually made a breakthrough at this moment. The aura of a overlord spread out, and his body turned into an afterimage as he flew towards his daughter. In that instant, Yi Yuanqing felt that his body was knocked away by his father, and then he saw his father. That sword pierced through his father's chest, and the ferocious sword chi even blew away the clouds. From this, it could be seen how powerful this sword was. A bloody hole appeared on Yi Shan's chest, and one could even see the person behind him through the bloody hole. Everyone was stunned. Yi Shan lowered his head and looked at his chest, then turned around and looked at his daughter. A trace of a smile appeared on Yi Shan's face, and soon after, he descended from the sky. A muffled sound rang out, and Yi Shan crashed into a house. Yi Yuanqing looked at his father, and his expression was exceptionally malevolent, and his eyes were bloodshot. Yi Yuanqing looked at the figure and saw that the figure had a pair of strange pupils. The dark purple pupils seemed exceptionally demonic in the darkness of the night, and the figure had a calm expression as he swept his gaze across everyone. The sword in his hand was still dripping with blood. If Li Hun was here, he would definitely know who he was. Dou Fushi. Dou Fushi, who was completely blackened and had even been forcefully modified by Qing Su, was practically someone who could kill even gods. Dou Fushi slowly turned his head around and looked towards Yi Yuanqing. He felt that she was the boss here, and that was why he directly rushed over just now. However, he didn't expect that the old man would push him away. It was a bit of a pity. I want to borrow your teleportation portal for a while, Dou Fushi said boldly. Everyone was startled. They didn't expect that Dou Fushi would actually want to borrow this portal. What is he doing here? End of this chapter. Chapter 1201. Teleportation was naturally used to send things to other planes. Some planes were very special and could only rely on Spirit Capital's teleportation formation, which was a unique formation. Perhaps gods were not the strongest, but their bloodline was the noblest. All their strength originated from the god realm. So no matter how strong a plane was, the people inside were all from the god realm, just that they pursued higher realms. Facing this man's request, the hundreds of Supremes refused, because everyone knew the importance of teleportation. They were the guardians of Spirit Capital and had the responsibility to stop it. But this time it would not be so easy to stop it. Because this was Dou Fushi after being modified by Qing Su. If the previous Dou Fushi was Wei Chang version 1.0, then this was Qing Su version 2.9. No one knew what Dou Fushi had been through these days. It was as if he had been tortured by Qing Su, but he no longer had any consciousness. He did not know what resistance was, nor did he know what pain was. He only knew one thing. Dou Fushi waved the long sword in his hand. A crescent sword chi instantly shot to the side. This sword chi was terrifying, emitting a violent astral wind that seemed to be able to pierce through everything. Whoosh! 10 Supremes were instantly sliced in half. They did not even have time to react, and even if they did not dare to move due to this aura. Yi Yuanqing's face turned pale when he saw this. Killing 10 Supremes in one move. This man. Who was he? Primordial spirits instantly appeared, and Dou Fushi waved his hand again. Even the primordial spirits could not escape. Everyone was in despair. To be able to kill Supremes in one move, he must be above Supremes. Yi Yuanqing looked at the sword in Dou Fushi's hand, wondering if this sword was very strong. But this was just an ordinary long sword of the city guards. This made Yi Yuanqing very uneasy. Looking at the broken roof, Yi Yuanqing was anxious. How was his father's injury? But his father's primordial spirit did not come out, so he should still be saved. Dou Fushi asked again, "Where is the teleportation? I do not wish to see your expressions of rejection." Everyone did not know what expression to show because they were not his match at all. He could kill them all in one move. We Supremes were like lambs in a pen, waiting to be slaughtered. Dou Fushi's gaze swept across the crowd, his expression turning solemn. This version of Dou Fushi was probably rarely seen by others, because Dou Fushi had always been a joker. Even if he kept a straight face, he would still make people laugh out loud. This was a person who lived for comedy, but what about now? The smile had disappeared and was replaced by a terrifying killing intent. Just now you even dared to kill his honor's little sister. It even injured Yi Shan directly. Of course, Dou Floating World couldn't be blamed for this. He didn't know this person either. Yi Yuanqing had never seen Dou Fushi before, so even if he did, it would be useless. "Hey, why is it taking you so long to ask for directions?" At this moment, a fat man shouted from the street below them. The fat man was none other than Qing Su. A man with a demonic existence. Dou Fushi's expression changed. This change in expression shocked everyone because it was a sign of fear. Could it be that the person below was even more powerful? Then why didn't he fly up? Dou Fushi landed in front of Qing Su and knelt down. Qing Su's huge body leapt up and sat firmly on Dou Fushi's back. "Let's go up and take a look." Yes. Qing Su didn't know how to fly, and his body was the same as an ordinary person's. This might be Qing Su's weakness. Although it was a weakness, Qing Su's aim was to get rid of this weakness. Right now, everyone was looking at Dou Fushi with astonishment on their faces. This fatty. He actually sat on the back of that expert just now and flew up into the sky. And that expert just now seemed to be very sincere. What is going on? Which one of you is the one speaking here? Ching Su asked curiously. He lightly wriggled his prayer beads, looking like he was a good person and wouldn't randomly kill people. Yi Yuanqing shouted out. How about we borrow a teleportation portal? No. Ching Su's small eyes narrowed. No? I will allow you to reorganize your words. No. Yi Yuanqing shouted out angrily. Even if I have to risk my life, I have to defend. Ling City is not allowed to be invaded by anyone. Little girl, you have to use your brain when doing things. If you don't use your brain, you will die. Ching Su said with a smile. However, right after Ching Su finished speaking, the 5 overlords could be seen grabbing onto their throats and struggling in the air. This kind of struggling gradually became twisted, just like a kind of mollusk. The limbs of the 5 overlords were twisting in a strange direction, and even their heads were turning 360 degrees. Blood flowed out from their skin. Bang, bang, bang. 5 muffled sounds rang out consecutively. Blood blossomed out from the 5 overlords, and even their primordial spirits were blown up. Everyone was stupefied. What happened just now? Just where are we? Why are we able to die just like that without any aura fluctuation? This doesn't make sense. This goes against the laws of nature. Ching Su is such a person, he kills with his mouth. If he wants someone to die, that person will definitely die. Of course, he doesn't really use his mouth, he uses poison. The existence of the poison cannot be felt at all. This is what makes Ching Su scary. However, Qian Yi, who was in the team, suddenly thought of something. More than 10 years ago, she met a person. That person was very strong. Strong to the point that he killed half of the overlords. He also used his mouth to say it. That's right, that person was Ching Su, but at that time, everyone was fighting for themselves and Ching Su had no one to protect him. At that time, Ching Su wasn't so abnormal and couldn't instantly poison others to death, so some people could take advantage of him. But now Ching Su completely has this ability. Instant poison. However, Qian Yi didn't dare to confirm whether it was him or not, because his body was too big and had already surpassed the range of fat people. Little girl, you have to be responsible for your words. Ching Su smiled. I'll let you choose again. Ching Su said indifferently. However, just as he finished speaking, another overlord started to twitch. What do you mean? Yi Yuanqing couldn't help but shout. Ching Su said softly, Little girl, I'm an impatient person, so you have to make a decision quickly because their lives are in your hands. Just as he finished speaking, that overlord slapped his palm on the top of his head, and even his primordial spirit was smashed into pieces. A circle of air bloomed in the air and spread out in all directions. Everyone heard what he said just now. I can't take it anymore. Kill me. Just kill me. Ching Su sat cross-legged on Do Fusher's back and watched quietly. This person had just died, and yet another overlord started to act strangely, and blood started to flow out of the corner of his mouth, and there were even 2 streams of blood flowing out. End of this chapter. Chapter 1202. At this moment, everyone started panicking. They were scared. Right now they were no longer gods, they were just children who were scared badly, and all of them were shivering. Even Yi Yuanqing and Qian Yi were scared. They had never seen such a killing method before. However, Qian Yi was still thinking, could this fatty be a teacher? Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? General Yi. One of the overlords finally couldn't endure the fear in his heart and shouted out Yi Yuanqing's name. Yi Yuanqing naturally knew what he was going to say, but, General Yi. Everyone couldn't help but shout out. Used to. I can't even defeat the small one, let alone the big one. Sweat flowed down from Yi Yuanqing's forehead, and the sweat flowed down along his exquisite face. How did he do it? To be able to silently kill an overlord. I have never seen such a killing method before. And the one that suppressed them was the man under his butt. Yet, that man was willing to be sat on by him. Just who is this fatty? Right now, Yi Yuanqing had no choice but to compromise. If he continues to waste more time, all of them might die. Alright, I promise you. Yi Yuanqing said gravely. It was very difficult to make such a decision. After all, the teleportation site was strictly guarded, and it was said that even if they died, they couldn't let bad people enter. This was also why they wanted to beg for mercy, but didn't dare to say that they would let the people go. Because if they really let the people go, although the people didn't die, they would still have to take the blame. At such a time, only Yi Yuanqing could take the blame. Ching Su nodded and said softly, Little girl, don't play any tricks, otherwise even Buddha will find it hard to save them. Do you understand? Yi Yuanqing originally wanted to ring the bell as soon as he relaxed, but after hearing such a threat, Yi Yuanqing hesitated. If he really rang the bell, they might all die. These were the majority of the overlords in Spiritual City. The number of overlords was still quite small, and it wasn't easy to nurture one, so everyone cherished them very much. Losing one meant losing a portion of strength. Therefore Yi Yuanqing didn't dare to act recklessly. I will bring you two over. Soon after, he said to Qian Yi, I will leave my father to you. Don't worry. Qian Yi nodded, indicating that she would take care of her father. Both of you follow me, Yi Yuanqing said in a deep voice. Qing Su's voice suddenly became cold. If you dare to lie to me, then no one in this city will survive. I'm serious. Qing Su wasn't joking, he really wanted to do that, but the most important thing right now was to go to a place and find an important medicinal ingredient. Yi Yuanqing did not say anything. He was considering whether he should ring the bell or not. However, he did not dare to bet the lives of the entire city. He could not afford to do so. Everyone only saw General Yi walking with two strange men. They were very confused. Didn't the Emperor bell ring just now? Why is General Yi here? Soon Yi Yuanqing brought the two of them to the teleportation site. General Yi, it's already late at night. The Emperor's bell rings. You are not allowed to enter. The man standing guard at the door reminded. Although the Emperor was dead, he still had his duties. Yi Yuanqing said in a low voice, I'm in a hurry. Please make an exception. General Yi, I'm sorry, I can't make an exception. Out of the way. Yi Yuanqing shouted coldly. If it wasn't for their appearance and strength just now, he couldn't believe that they would be so abnormal and outrageous. These guards are no match for them at all. It's for their own good to let them go now. But this kind of good, the guard obviously didn't hear. Loyal duty. General Yi, please go back. You. Qing Su, who was standing behind, said in a low voice, General Yi, why don't you let me do it? No, I can handle it. Yi Yuanqing said in a hurry. Without saying anything, he knocked the two of them out. Instead of being killed by them, it's better to be knocked out by himself. Opening the two giant doors, Yi Yuanqing took the two of them into the teleportation site. There are all kinds of teleportation devices in sight. Everything here is attracting emotions. I really want to stay here and study these teleportation devices. I don't know if I can go back to the past or the future. It's really worth studying. Qing Su stroked the instrument of the teleportation device as if he had seen his own baby. Yi Yuanqing stood beside him without saying a word. He felt that this fat man was a little weird. He was interested in complicated devices. The emotions he showed were like that of a child. He didn't have the demeanor of an expert at all. Looks like I can only come back next time. Qing Su seemed to be talking to himself. He was a little stupid. But Yi Yuanqing knew that without a professional setting the target, it would be impossible to teleport out. Qing Su's hands moved quickly. This kind of thing made Yi Yuanqing dumbfounded. Why does this person know how to use it? Qing Su said lightly, this thing is very difficult for you, but for me, I can operate it a few times. But it's not very accurate, it's a little troublesome. But it doesn't matter as long as it's accurate. After saying that, Qing Su stood on the teleportation device. Little Do, press the red button and come over. Okay. Do Fusher pressed the red button and moved to Qing Su's side in half a breath's time. The two of them stood in the teleportation device. Yi Yuanqing clenched his fists. At this time, Qing Su suddenly said, Miss, maybe we will meet again. A smile appeared on Qing Su's plump face and his eyes disappeared. With a flash of white light, the two of them disappeared from the device. Yi Yuanqing quickly rushed over to check the target. I don't understand what is going on at all. I have to find a professional to take a look at it. Yi Yuanqing thought of his father. I have to hurry over and take a look at my father's condition. I'll just leave this matter to other people to deal with. After returning back to Yi family, Yi Yuanqing ran towards his father's room. How is it? Yi Yuanqing asked gravely. Yi Qin said in a low voice. Big sister, it is only a matter of time before father fully recovers, but, seeing that everyone's expression was grave, Yi Yuanqing couldn't help but become worried. But what? But, father's cultivation is gone. Yi Liangkai let out a deep sigh. Yi Yuanqing was evidently unable to accept this. How is this possible? How is it possible that father's cultivation is gone? Big sister, I heard from Lord Qian that father's whirlwind was destroyed by that sword, and in the future father won't even be able to gather his whirlwind. Yi Yuanqing's expression was very bad. These two people. When the time comes, I must definitely catch them. To actually harm my father. If not for my father, I would have already died. Yi Yuanqing will remember this. Yichen, take good care of father, I will go and deal with the matters outside. End of this chapter. Chapter 1203. Okay sister, don't worry. We'll take care of father. Yi Liangkai encouraged her. Be strong. Don't be defeated by demons. Yi Yuanqing was naturally at ease. He was about to go to the teleportation site to take a look when he bumped into Shan Yu outside. General Yi, what happened? Why did the Emperor bell ring? I'll tell you later. Go to the teleportation site now. Why are we going there? I was the one who brought him in. Ah. Shan Yu was stunned. You actually brought people into the teleportation site. Do you know what crime that is? You're going to be beheaded, sister. Can you stop messing around? Wouldn't it be better to sit on the throne obediently? It wouldn't do if he insisted on interfering in this matter. When the time comes, Huang Min will definitely make a fuss. Shan Yu's mind was racing. Where should he start investigating? That Huang Min loved to make a fuss. He could even turn black into white. When they arrived at the teleportation site, the royal carriage was parked outside. Shan Yu said in a low voice, I didn't expect this guy to come. He must be using this matter to bring you down. General Yi, you have to be careful. Compared to the throne, Yi Yuanqing wanted to know where the two of them had gone. Yi Yuanqing and Shan Yu hurriedly walked into the teleportation site. As soon as they entered, they saw Huang Min, who was dressed in the clothes of a prince. He was tall and handsome, and he had the demeanor of an emperor. Actually, Yi Yuanqing and Shan Yu didn't have much of an impression of Huang Min. This was because most of the time Huang Min wasn't in the palace. He traveled around the god's realm and learned a lot. However, ever since he returned, the people of the royal family started to unite. They even supported Huang Min to ascend to the throne. This was unexpected. General Yi, you're here. Huang Min turned around and looked at Yi Yuanqing, revealing a gentle smile. He even cupped his hands and bowed to a junior. This attitude was even more unfathomable. Your Highness the Fifth Prince. Of course, Yi Yuanqing had to address him respectfully. After all, they hadn't fallen out yet. Huang Min nodded. The two of them seemed to be very good friends. Shan Yu stood at the side and didn't say anything. General Yi, I heard that you brought two people in and injured the guards. Is this true? Huang Min asked in a low voice. His tone was calm, as if he didn't blame him. Yes. Why? Save their lives, Yi Yuanqing said solemnly. Huang Min didn't say anything. He had also heard about what happened last night. The other party only had 2 people, even though it was just 2 people. However, many supremacies had died. They could not stop their attacks at all. The most important problem was that no one from the royal family was present at that time. This was negative news for the royal family. The fact that no one dared to go to the royal family was something that most people couldn't accept. Why didn't anyone from the royal family go? They were all so scared that they didn't dare to go. If they were to go to the royal palace, it would mean that they would be annihilated. Who would dare to go and die? In fact, there were even people from the royal family who were prepared to run away. It was fortunate that no one saw such a scandal, or else the royal family would lose all face. Huang Min didn't say anything for the time being. He hadn't thought things through yet. At this moment, a man walked over and shouted respectfully, "Fifth Prince, General Yi." The dimension they went to was not recorded. After hearing that, Yi Yuanqing's eyebrows wrinkled. Planes that are not recorded? This was probably not as simple as it looked. I'll go and take a look, Yi Yuanqing said solemnly. Hearing that, Huang Min was delighted. Planes that were not recorded normally wouldn't be able to come back after going to them. The prince would rather you go and not come back. General Yi. Shan Yu hurriedly shouted out. What is this woman going to do? Aren't we fighting over the throne right now? If you were to go, wouldn't you be handing over the throne with both hands? Huang Min scolded Shan Yu in his heart. Shan Yu, you idiot, what did I ask you to say? Shan Yu brought Yi Yuanqing to one side and said softly, General Yi, you are fighting over the throne right now. If you were to leave just like this, the throne would definitely be gone. Think thrice. After hearing that, Yi Yuanqing came to a realization. If I were to leave right now, I indeed wouldn't even be able to get the throne. General Yi, to put it bluntly, even if you manage to catch up to them, there is nothing you can do. Therefore, General Yi, you still have to look at the big picture. Yi Yuanqing took in a deep breath. That's right, even if I manage to catch up to them, what can I do? There is nothing I can do. Yi Yuanqing was very disappointed. Those 2 ran away from me, so I have to catch them myself. However, there is nothing I can do right now. Yi Yuanqing nodded his head. What you said is right. Shan Yu let out a breath of relief. This crazy woman didn't lose her rationality, this is truly fortunate. Seeing that Yi Yuanqing didn't have any reaction, Huang Min, who was at the side, deeply wrinkled his brows. If this Shan Yu wasn't here, adding on my instigation, I would definitely have gotten hot-headed and chased after those two, and then I would have died. At this moment, Shan Junren hurriedly rushed over and shouted out respectfully, General Yi, 5th Prince. From the way he addressed Yi Yuanqing, it could be seen that Yi Yuanqing was the one who came first. Prime Minister Shan. With a smile on his face, Huang Min cupped his hands. This rotten old man, when the time comes, I will kill you and your father. Those who stand against me, I will kill all of them. Not a single one will be spared. What exactly is going on? Shan Junren asked confusedly. Yi Yuanqing told everyone about what happened at the entrance of the city, and after everyone heard it, they were all extremely shocked. Such terrifying two actually appeared, where did they come from? And then, they made such a huge commotion just to teleport out of the city. Furthermore, it is a plane that is not recorded in the records. Shan Junren was a bit unable to understand, could it be that there is a treasure in that plane? Everyone go back and rest, we will discuss this during the morning court session tomorrow. Huang Min was just like an emperor, giving out orders. This made the people from Yi family's faction very unhappy. You are not the emperor yet, and you are already putting on the airs of an emperor, you are truly shameless. Although Huang Min isn't the emperor, he is still a member of the royal family, and everyone didn't dare to say anything. After all, we don't know what the royal family's foundation is, and it is still very troublesome to deal with them. Let's go. Yi Yuanqing said lightly, then took the lead to leave the scene and go back to take a look at his father. Shan Yu didn't follow Yi Yuanqing, he came to his father's side and said in a low voice, Father, what happened tonight should be beneficial to us. Not necessarily, this teleportation site has to be protected with one's life. Although General Yi is taking everyone's life into consideration, in the end he still brought the two of them in. If Huang Min holds on to this point and doesn't let go, we will also be in a very passive position. Shan Junren said in a low voice, his expression became slightly solemn. He looked at Huang Min, who was currently communicating with the others, and it was possible that he was also giving suggestions. Shan Yu said in a low voice, in any case, General Yi saved the lives of the other supreme beings, those supreme beings won't just sit and watch, right? End of this chapter. Chapter 1204. Shan Yu, those people aren't easy to talk to. They won't just let this matter slide. After all, they are people who protect the royal family. Even if General Yi saved their lives, they won't stand on General Ye's side. The best outcome now is to remain neutral. That would be giving him a lot of face, Shan Junren said in a low voice. He knew these supreme martial artists very well. They definitely wouldn't do anything that didn't benefit them. Shan Yu fell silent after hearing this. It seemed like there would be a tough battle tomorrow. Suddenly, Shan Yu saw Huang Min walking towards him. The father and son were a little surprised. Prime Minister Shan. 5th Prince. Can I have a word with you? Huang Min smiled. Shan Junren smiled and nodded. The two of them walked to the side. At this moment, Huang Min went straight to the point. Prime Minister Shan, when my father was still alive, he said that you are an old and trustworthy subject. I don't deserve the trust of the emperor. Shan Junren's words were very formal. He was obviously a wily old fox. Huang Min didn't mind. He smiled and said, Prime Minister Shan, I'll be straightforward. I hope that you can assist me like how you assisted my father. I will definitely let bygones be bygones. 5th Prince, I will naturally assist the new emperor without hesitation. Huang Min was stunned for a moment. He revealed a deathly smile, then patted Shan Junren's shoulder and left. Shan Junren knew that this was the last chance that Huang Min was giving him. However, people who did great things. One had to be brave enough to take risks. If he sided with Huang Min today, it would still be the same in the future. What Huang Min said just now could even be said to be an insult. It was as if he was saying, old man, you're done for. Kneel down and lick my boots now and you still have a chance to live. Otherwise, I'll make sure your entire family dies. Shan Junren had been through a lot, so how could he be scared so easily? In Shan Junren's heart, his backer was Lord Yi. That was the real decision-maker. After returning home, Yi Yuanqing went to see his father again. He saw Yi Shan lying on the bed. His chest was wrapped in white gauze. Supreme martial artists were so strong. Even if their chests were pierced, they could still survive. Looking at his father's aged face, Yi Yuanqing furrowed his brows. He would remember this grudge. Just go and rest. We still have a tough battle to fight tomorrow. Rest well, Yi Chen said softly. He had a tired expression on his face. Right now, father who had lost his strength had become an ordinary person. Without the support of strength, father's aging was currently accelerating. In the future, father will be an ordinary person. With his cyclone destroyed, father will no longer be able to gather qi, and father will become an ordinary person in the future. Even if they had all kinds of spiritual medicines to protect them, they would only be able to prolong their lifespans. They would not be like Supremes who had an infinitely long lifespan. Even if he had all kinds of medicine, it would only prolong his life. Yi Chen's face tightened as he said softly, "Elder sister, if you really can't do it, just call Big Brother back. This is Big Brother's test for me. The outcome hasn't been decided yet. If I hand Big Brother over, wouldn't I be letting him down?" It wasn't that Yi Yuanqing didn't think of calling out, but he stopped every time. If he really did call out, it would be a situation that he couldn't solve. Yi Chen didn't say anything. Since young, sister had wanted to surpass Big Brother. She saw Big Brother as her idol. She naturally didn't want Big Brother to be disappointed. "All right, sister. You should go and rest. It's getting late. The sun will rise in a few hours." Yi Yuanqing let out a breath. "Take care of father. Sister, it's up to you now." Right now, the lives of the whole family were on Yi Yuanqing's shoulders. He felt that it was very heavy. However, Yi Yuanqing thought to himself, this is probably the experience that Big Brother gave me. The morning of Lingdu was always bright and beautiful. But today the atmosphere was a bit heavy. Perhaps it was because of what happened last night and today's ruling. It made everyone feel gloomy. Although it was still early for morning court, the residents were already in a parade mode. Of course. One side supported Yi Yuanqing, and the other side supported Huang Min after receiving benefits. The two voices almost shook the entire Lingdu. From this, it could be seen how much importance everyone attached to this election. In Yi family, everyone came to send Yi Yuanqing off to the morning court. Yi Yuanqing was still wearing a velvet armor. After all, she was still a general. She was the woman who was appointed as the great general by Huang Feidi, the leader of all the generals. "Big sister, you can do it," Yi Zhe shouted. Yi Yuanqing waved his hand towards his brothers and revealed a smile on his face. However, after he returned to the carriage, the smile on his face disappeared. "General Yi, we support you. General Yi, you can do it. Big sister Yi, you can do it. I want to be a girl like Big sister Yi in the future as well." Listening to the cheering voices on the streets, Yi Yuanqing felt as if he had been injected with new strength, filling him with fighting spirit. "Today if they don't die, then I will lose. After that, I will lower my head and look for Big Brother. That would be so embarrassing." Along the way, the residents on both sides were very passionate. These were all his supporters, and this also filled Yi Yuanqing with strength. After arriving at the entrance of the palace, Yi Yuanqing was still shocked by this scene. There was a sea of people, and everyone was holding up signboards and cheering for the person they liked. However, Yi Yuanqing still heard voices slandering him. They were very vicious, but Yi Yuanqing knew that these were all people hired by Huang Min. Yi Yuanqing chose to block them off and got off the carriage outside the palace. "General Yi, all of you rise." Yi Yuanqing was now a little like a queen. Every action of hers had a different kind of pressure. "Thank you, General Yi." Yi Yuanqing slowly walked into the palace. Not long later he met Shan Junren and Chen Yi. "General Yi, you are here." "Greetings, Prime Minister Shan, Lord Chen." Yi Yuanqing scoffed politely. "You are treating me like an outsider, you are treating me like an outsider. We are family." Shan Junren revealed a weird smile as if he was saying that his son was going to marry you and be your male pet. You should take care of him in the future. However, Yi Yuanqing didn't think so much. "General Yi, you don't need to say anything today and you don't need to do anything. Just leave everything to us." Prime Minister Shan said respectfully. "Okay." Yi Yuanqing said softly. "Shan, you came late." He looked at Yi Yuanqing and his expression wasn't good. He thought to himself that it should be because of his father. This was unavoidable. Life still had to go on. Everyone walked into the hall. The throne had been empty for a few days and no one had sat on it. However, today they would know who would be able to sit on that supreme position. The entire God's Realm Emperor. This gimmick was attractive enough. How could the people of the royal family give it up? It was a pity that all the outstanding ones had died. The remaining ones were all fake and inferior products. If not for Huang Min knowing how to use people's hearts, he would probably have died. End of this chapter. Chapter 1205. Yi Yuanqing stood at the very front of the military officers, while Shan Junren stood at the very front of the civil officers. At the side stood a few princes, and they were all led by Huang Min, who came to cheer for Yi Yuanqing. The eunuch stood in front of the throne and shouted weakly, "Today is the last day of the ruling, the new emperor will be chosen to lead us." Is there even a need to say it? It will definitely be the fifth prince, Huang Min. Before the eunuch finished speaking, one of them started shouting. That's right, the fifth prince is part of the royal family, it is only right for him to inherit the throne. The fifth prince was also doted on by the late emperor back then. If the late emperor knew about this, he would definitely pass the throne to the fifth prince. That's right, it is only right for the fifth prince to inherit the throne. When did an outsider become the emperor, and a woman at that? Huang Min didn't say anything and listened quietly, appearing very calm. However, the palace immediately became like a market. All of them were targeting Yi Yuanqing, and it was even more intense than the previous few times. Everyone, please quiet down. If the late emperor was still here, he wouldn't want to hear such a ruckus. The eunuch shouted. Everyone seemed to give this eunuch some face, and the voices gradually died down. At this moment, Shan Yu stood out and said, "Every generation of emperors must have the strength of a supreme being, must have military merits, and must have a noble character. To dare to be the fifth prince, how many of these three do you need?" Shan Yu's words had never been spoken in the past few times. Some important questions had to be used in important occasions, such as now. After all, this was the last time and he had to bring out his trump card. Following Shan Yu's words, everyone seemed to be speechless, because what Shan Yu said was right. If not, why would Huang Yun and Huang Li go to get military merits? It was all for the sake of preparing for the throne. If not, when the time comes, someone would find an excuse to say that without military merits, one doesn't have the right to inherit the throne. Therefore, among the three, military merits were actually the most important. The first was very hard to obtain, the second. There was no war, I need to wait, Shan Yu continued. General Yi, you have long reached the strength of a supreme being. Not long ago you even made great contributions. Last night, you were bestowed the title of Great General by the late Emperor. For the safety of all the people in the city, he led the intruder alone and avoided a disaster. Isn't that virtuous? What we need is a real emperor, not someone who only knows how to talk. Shan Yu was getting more and more excited as he spoke. At the end he even mocked him and became a little smug. Hearing his son's words, Shan Junren smiled bitterly in his heart. But this was fine too. Since he had already offended him, it was the same to offend him again. At this time Huang Min said softly, "Lord Shan, speaking of what happened last night, General Yi still has to take full responsibility." Yi Yuanqing turned to look at Huang Min and asked, "Fifth Prince, what responsibility do I have to bear?" "General Yi, you know of the rules of the teleportation formation." Yi said. "General, I said you know the rules of the formation." He had violated the ancestors' great taboo. What right does he have to sit on the throne? Everyone found that Huang Min was also very eloquent. She immediately caught General Ye's Achilles' heel, making her unable to fight back. Regarding what happened last night, the father and son discussed for a long time. They felt that it was very troublesome, and they were unable to prove their innocence. Shan Junren said softly, "Fifth Prince, last night all of the supreme beings were present. The other party's strength is not something we can compare with. If General Yi did not agree, then all the sovereigns would die, including the entire spirit capital. If not for General Ye's intelligence. We wouldn't be standing here right now. Also, one of the two people knew how to activate the teleportation formation. This also means that they can leave without us. Without us they can leave. General Ye's choice is the best. If we are stubborn, we will only ruin the spirit capital. What we need is an emperor with brains and responsibility." Shan Junren's words had already cleared Yi Yuanqing's name to a large extent. Shan Junren turned his head and looked at Huang Min, then asked faintly, "Fifth Prince, may I ask, after such a big thing happened last night, why is it that not a single member of the royal family is seen? I even heard that all of them are preparing to pack up and leave?" Shan Yu really admired his father. Is this the legendary triple kill? The royal family's faction was completely speechless. Hearing that, Huang Min remained calm and turned his head to look at Shan Junren. Prime Minister, why are you supporting an outsider? If father knew about this, I'm afraid that he would not forgive you. Fifth Prince, I support a wise emperor. This has nothing to do with my family name. If the late emperor was still alive, he would definitely be happy with my choice. Hearing his father's words, Shan Yu almost laughed out. If the late emperor knew about this, he would definitely be so angry that he would jump out of his coffin. The royal family had declined in this generation, mainly because Yi Hua got rid of Huang Li and Huang Yun. If one of them was still alive, then Yi Yuanqing would have nothing to do with it. Yi Hua seemed to have already planned to clear the path for his sister. At this moment, Yi Hua wanted to say, you guessed it right, seems like I didn't hide it well enough. Huang Min's expression still did not change. This caused Shan Junren, who was at the side, to feel very puzzled. Could it be that he still has some trump card? Seeing that his father did not speak, Shan Yu stood out and said, General Yi is both brave and intelligent. He has the ability to sit on the throne, to lead the entire God's realm. Right at this moment, Yi family's faction started adding fuel to the fire. On the other hand, the royal family's faction that was extremely explosive at the start was now completely silent. Each and every one of them was flushed red. There was completely no point to refute because Huang Min really, other than the title of the royal family, he really did not have anything. He did not even have the three most basic requirements. Right at this moment, Huang Min asked faintly, Prime Minister Shan, what you mean is that the royal family cannot inherit the throne right now? Shan Junren wrinkled his brows and said lightly, if there is someone in the royal family who fulfills the three requirements, I will naturally support that person. But for the eldest prince and the ninth prince, sigh. Seems like Prime Minister Shan has forgotten a principle. Huang Min said faintly. Shan Junren went into a daze, then asked curiously, Fifth Prince, please enlighten me. Do you know what is the royal family's inheritance? Huang Min asked faintly. Shan Junren immediately had a bad premonition. The royal family's inheritance. The previous emperors were all chosen by the royal family, but in the past the emperors had always been chosen, only this time was an accident. But in the end, those people were all the royal family's own people, there had never been outsiders. Those three requirements were also slowly evolved and in the end they became a custom. However, it seems like the royal family has the final say on those three requirements. I am just taking advantage of a loophole. However, now that things have come to this, I can't just casually lower my head. The royal family's inheritance is also something that only those who are capable can inherit. Shan Junren said gravely. Hearing that, Huang Min laughed lightly. This is a type of ridicule, laughing at you for not knowing anything. End of this chapter. Chapter 1206. Since it's the royal family's inheritance, it's only natural for the royal family to produce their descendants. These words were not spoken by Huang Min, but came from outside. Two men slowly walked in. When the crowd saw the appearance of the two men, their pupils shrank. Especially Shan Junren, one of them had seen him before, and the other had seen him in a portrait. This old subject kowtows in salute to the Supreme Emperor. Retired Emperor. Shan Junren had lived through two dynasties and of course he had seen Huang Feidi's father. However, in the end Huang Feidi's father disappeared, and no one knew where Huang Feidi's father went to. To be more precise, as long as the emperor abdicated, he would eventually disappear. But now there were actually two of them. Huang Feidi's father and grandfather. This gave Shan Junren a fright. No wonder Huang Min looked so confident. It turned out that he had found them to back him up. Things had become difficult. Shan Yu was also shocked. Ever since he was born, the emperor had always been Huang Feidi. He had never seen these two before. But as his father shouted, Shan Yu's gaze became flustered. To be precise, the entire Yi family was in a panic. The royal family, who had been dispirited just a moment ago, looked as if they had seen their savior. They wanted to crawl over and lick his shoes to express their excitement. This subject kowtows in salute to the Supreme Emperor. Retired Emperor. Everyone knelt on the ground and shouted. Yi Yuanqing was no longer calm. He had not expected something like this to happen. It was no wonder that Huang Min could instantly unify the members. It turned out that they were supporting him from behind. This made sense. Shan Junren, we haven't seen each other for 10,000 years. I didn't expect that you would help Huang Feidi to ascend to the throne, and now you are helping someone other than the royal family to ascend to the throne. Your courage is commendable. Retired Emperor Donghuang said in a deep voice. The Supreme Emperor Donghuang Mausoleum didn't say anything and looked coldly at Yi Yuanqing. This woman also wants to be the emperor. Do you think there's no one in the East royal family? Shan Junren hurriedly explained, retired emperor, His Majesty suddenly passed away. This old subject is just following the usual rules. Rules? Shan Junren. You still haven't figured it out. The royal family is the rule. Hearing this, Shan Junren's face turned pale. If these words came out of Huang Min's mouth, they wouldn't have such an imposing aura. However, when it came from the retired emperor's mouth, it carried a terrifying murderous aura. At this moment, Shan Yu's face also became pale. I'm finished? I'm finished today. If those two people didn't come, the throne would definitely be Yi Yuanqing's. But since those two people came, then the throne. Not only that. I still have to give up my life. This is the price I have to pay. If it's not death, then it's glory, splendor, wealth and rank. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. However, this was clearly the worst-case scenario. Father, please sit. Dong Huangyu respectfully called out. The Dong Huang mausoleum slowly walked up the steps and sat on the throne. No one dared to say a word. Dong Huangyu was standing right beside him. When this seat was occupied, no one dared to act rashly. Yi Yuanqing didn't know what to say. One was the retired emperor, and the other was the supreme emperor. They were all previous emperors. Weren't they the ones who had the final say in the selection of the emperor? Dong Huang Mausoleum touched the dragon throne and murmured, "It's still the same feeling. It hasn't changed at all." No one dared to breathe loudly. I heard that my grandson died in front of the stage. Is this the right position? Dong Huang Mausoleum pointed to a corner and asked faintly. The eunuch at the side had a happy expression on his face. He finally saw the retired emperor again, and he looked exactly the same as before. Supreme Emperor, His Majesty died here without any aura. He was brutally murdered. The eunuch said while choking with sobs. From time to time he would wipe his tears with his sleeves. Dong Huang Mausoleum's face gradually became gloomy, and he said in a deep voice, "In this hall, an emperor had actually been murdered. But you don't know. His head was cut off so cruelly." "Oh, who is it?" Huang Min took a step forward and said respectfully, "Supreme Emperor, the biggest suspect now is the Yi family. Because the Yi family wanted to usurp the throne. If their father didn't die, what reason did they have? Big brother and ninth brother also died in the conspiracy, and soon after, Father Emperor also died. They just used 3 conditions to choose the emperor. Are they bullying our imperial family because there is no one capable?" Yi Yuanqing stood there without saying anything because the emperor had indeed been killed by his eldest brother. Yi Yuanqing did not seem to intend to deny what he had done. Sure. The spiritual capital doesn't seem to be afraid of the imperial family anymore. We can kill anyone from the royal family if we want to. If he wanted to usurp the throne, he would usurp it. How dare they? When the Supreme Emperor displayed his might, it was rather ferocious. A terrifying aura immediately swept through the area. Everyone was completely unable to resist and was pressed onto the ground. Even Yi Yuanqing was no exception. However, Yi Yuanqing sensed that the Supreme Emperor's strength was above Supreme Being. "I'm afraid that the Supreme Emperor is the same as well? Shan Junren, do you know your crime?" The Supreme Emperor Dong Huangyu asked coldly. Shan Junren hurriedly kowtowed. "Right now, there is no way to save the situation unless Prince Yi comes over. However, will Prince Yi come over?" Even Yi Yuanqing didn't know the answer to this question. It was very difficult to send sound transmissions between different planes, and furthermore, a barrier had already been set up here. From the looks of it, these two people are going to join in the rebellion, and they are going to stun the people who are going to rebel against the imperial family. "Supreme Emperor, this old subject knows his crime," Shan Junren said gravely. "Drag him out and behead him." Dong Huangyu gave the order without any hesitation. As an emperor, one must have a heart that is decisive in killing. Shan Junren knew that he was definitely going to die. "Supreme Emperor, please spare my life. I am willing to take the punishment on behalf of my father." Shan Yu immediately knelt onto the ground and begged. The imperial family revealed an expression that was rejoicing in Shan Yu's misfortune. "Weren't you very formidable just now?" "Formidable? Why aren't you continuing to be formidable anymore?" "Bastard! Go back!" Shan Junren shouted out coldly. "Father is already old and you still have many important things to do. Drag them out and behead them." Dong Huangyu shouted out coldly. To actually dare rebel against the imperial family, they are truly tired of living. "Wait!" Yi Yuanqing suddenly shouted out. The two big shots looked towards Yi Yuanqing, seemingly saying, I will deal with you later, don't be anxious. Dong Huangling said lightly, Shan family's crime of usurping the throne, all of them shall be exterminated. Hearing what Dong Huangling said, everyone present sucked in a breath of cold air. Shan family has a lot of branch families, and right now, with just a single sentence from Shan family, all of them will have to die together with Shan family. I was the one who instigated it. Yi Yuanqing said lightly. Dong Huangling could be seen slapping the air. Pa! This slap ruthlessly landed onto Yi Yuanqing's face, and Yi Yuanqing fell onto the ground. A great general was slapped onto the ground just like that, and no one dared to say anything. Blood was already flowing out from the corner of Yi Yuanqing's mouth. If Yi Shan was here, he would definitely stop his daughter from making a mistake again. Why is her personality exactly the same as your big brother? Pa! Another slap ruthlessly landed onto Yi Yuanqing's face, and Yi Yuanqing's body was sent flying, and Yi Yuanqing fiercely crashed onto the dragon pillar at the side. The entire palace hall shook slightly. Yi Yuanqing slowly landed onto the ground, and there were two huge handprints on his face, and all of his pores were smashed into pieces. This is too terrifying. End of this chapter. Chapter 1207. Yi Yuanqing looked as if he had already broken through. Yi Yuanqing slowly landed on the ground, unable to move. These two were supreme beings, he wasn't their match at all. They were just too powerful, just like how he met those two from yesterday. Dong Huang Mausoleum said faintly, the mastermind of the Yi family, hang all of them at the city gate as a warning to others. Yes. Everyone related to the Yi family. Hang them all. To uphold the prestige of the emperor. The East Emperor Mausoleum exuded a murderous aura. After not returning for so many years, such a thing actually happened. If they didn't know about it, they wouldn't even know that the gods' world had changed their surnames. Supreme Emperor, we are innocent, please spare our lives. Supreme Emperor. Retired Emperor, run for your life. We are all innocent. Huang Min looked at Shan Junren, who was kneeling at the side, and said in a low voice, Prime Minister, I gave you a chance yesterday, but what a pity. Did you think that Lord Yi would appear? You are thinking too much. Right now, Shan Junren didn't have any confidence anymore, and he looked towards Yi Yuanqing, who had fallen under the dragon pillar. Hurry up and call your big brother over, or we'll all die. Both of them were superior supremes. Yi Yuanqing now knew that it was not so easy to sit on the throne. He thought that if he was benevolent to others, they would all approve of him. But he was wrong. To be kind to some people was to be cruel to himself. Since Big Brother had paved the way for him, he would definitely not let Big Brother down. The throne was theirs. Yi Yuanqing stood up slowly. She seemed to be on the verge of collapsing, but she gritted her teeth and persevered. You can still stand up? Dong Huangyu was surprised. An ordinary supreme martial artist wouldn't even be able to stand after being slapped like that, let alone a woman. However, this woman actually stood up, which was indeed amazing. Yi Yuanqing leaned against the dragon pillar, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. He turned his head to look at the two people on the stairs. Originally, I wanted to be harmonious, but I don't want to pretend anymore. I am just a woman who kills enemies. Yi Yuanqing laughed as if she had gone mad. Everyone had the same feeling. Yi family's second son has gone crazy. This might not be madness, but he was laughing at his own childishness. On Yi Yuanqing's right hand, a small bell condensed out. Big Brother said that when I have difficulties, ring the bell, there will be a surprise. I don't know what kind of surprise Big Brother has prepared for me. Don't tease your little sister, or else Big Brother won't be able to see your little sister. When the Donghuang Mausoleum and the Donghuang sect saw Yi Yuanqing take out a copper bell, their gazes froze. A bad premonition appeared. Take her down. Donghuang Mausoleum shouted. However, ring ring ring, a clear and melodious voice rang out in the main hall, captivating everyone's hearts. Everyone's scalp went numb at this moment. This ringtone was like a ghost, reverberating in everyone's mind. Crick. A crack appeared on the bell on Yi Yuanqing's right hand, and soon after, the bell shattered. What? Yi Yuanqing really wanted to cry. Big Brother? This surprise of yours is too horrifying. Donghuang Mausoleum and Donghuang heaved a sigh of relief. They were frightened just now. Thinking back, he was actually frightened by a woman. It was simply unbearable. This damned woman actually scared him. Unforgivable. Cut her into 8 pieces for me. I want her blood to flow all over the ground. Dong Huangyu shouted angrily, feeling that his dignity was trampled on by this woman. However, when Dong Huangyu finished shouting, a strange cold wind condensed in the palace. In the god's realm there was no such cold wind. The 4 seasons of the year were like spring, the wind was gentle and the sun was beautiful. But what did this cold wind mean? Everyone couldn't help but shiver. Suddenly, in front of Yi Yuanqing the ground seemed to be sinking. However, this was an illusion, this was not sinking. This was a cave that looked like red magma. The middle was like magma, and the sides were like black whirlpools that were spinning. A fierce aura instantly filled the entire palace. A hand suddenly extended out from the magma and grabbed onto the ground. With just a light grab it caused the entire palace to shake. This was already beyond the interest of ordinary people. The hand suddenly emitted flames and burned. The temperature of the scene rose rapidly. When the human-shaped flame completely appeared, that was why everyone's eyeballs were about to fall out. Who is this flaming man? Yi Yuanqing looked at the flaming man in front of him, completely confused. This is the surprise that Big Brother gave me? Is this a fire stick? Dong Huangyu and Dong Huang Mausoleum could feel the strength of this flaming man, and their gazes became cold. Is that Bell a summoning item? Indeed. Azura Purgatory. Wuming greets Master. Wuming knelt down to show his loyalty. When Shan Junren saw this scene, he finally heaved a sigh of relief, while the imperial family became restless. If it was over just like this, that wouldn't be Yihua's style. If he said that he gave her a surprise, then it was definitely a surprise. This was the biggest guarantee that Yihua gave his sister. Even if he wasn't by her side, he would be able to protect her the entire time. Right at this moment, everyone felt a terrifying pressure coming from above their heads. This pressure made even Dong Huang Mausoleum and Dong Huangyu reveal a look of astonishment. However, in Spirit Capital City, everyone could see that there was a huge whirlpool condensing in the sky above the palace. Thunder and lightning were rumbling inside and it was deafening. Everyone looked at the strange clouds with shock and fear in their eyes, because this was something that had never happened before. No one knew what was happening inside. However, they could guess that something must have happened inside. The people who were standing outside were even more restless, and they wished that they could rush inside and take a look at what was happening. A streak of silver light descended from the clouds, whistling through the air. However, in the palace's main hall, everyone was being pressured to the point that they couldn't breathe. Only Yi Yuanqing was fine, but he was still able to feel the pressure. Big Brother, this surprise of his is really too awesome. Big Brother is awesome. Give a like to Big Brother. A silver long sword could be seen piercing through the roof and landing at the center of the main hall. Looking at the silver long sword, everyone's expression became grave. The silver long sword seemed to be a two-handed sword, and silver patterns were flickering on the body of the sword. Why is there only one sword? What is the meaning of this? Just as everyone was puzzled, a black figure slowly landed on the ground and directly stepped onto the hilt of the sword. This person had a head full of long black hair, and he wore a black windbreaker that fluttered along with the wind. I am Sword God, young Master Changqing, and I am willing to serve Master. Changqing placed his hand on his chest to show his loyalty. Yi Yuanqing was currently in a stupefied state. This kind of surprise is truly unbearable. Right now, Shan Junren could finally let out a breath of relief. Originally, General Yi still had a trump card, just that he didn't reveal it. This is truly worrying. I nearly thought that I was going to die. End of this chapter. Chapter 1208. However, everyone was waiting. Is there still more? Father, we can't stay here for long. Dong Huangyu said in a low voice. The two people in front of me don't seem to be my match. Dong Huangyu waited for a while, then called out again, Father? There was still no response from his father. Furthermore, everyone below had a face full of shock as if they had seen a ghost. Dong Huangyu couldn't help but turn his head around to take a look. A man who was dressed sloppily could be seen. This sloppiness was indeed a bit sloppily, with a few leaves covering his private parts, and in his hand was a rusty long blade. However, this black iron long blade was stained with blood, and the blood stained with blood was all of his father's blood. Furthermore, his father's head was really in his hand. Furthermore, his father's eyeballs could still move. My name is King Yu, my nickname is God of Slaughter. Master, are you satisfied with this gift? King Yu grinned, revealing his white teeth, which formed a sharp contrast with his skin. However, compared to the head in his hand, that head was nothing. That head was the head of the Supreme Emperor. It was actually grabbed by the Supreme Emperor just like that. Everyone just saw a shadow appear, then cut off the Supreme Emperor's head. The shadow's movements were as smooth as flowing water, and with a single look, one could tell that the shadow was an expert in this field. No, this is simply terrifying. The shadow was able to deal with the Supreme Emperor so easily, and this Supreme Emperor, wouldn't it be even easier to deal with him? Right now Yi Yuanqing had a blank expression on his face. He was killed just like that? Just now this Supreme Emperor slapped me twice and he was killed just like that? This is simply letting him off too easily. However, this Supreme Emperor's blood had already stained the throne. This proved that this was indeed a throne that was stained with blood. Right now Huang Min was also unable to remain calm. The trump card of the Supreme Emperor is even more terrifying than mine. I originally thought that the trump card of the Supreme Emperor would at most be Lord Yi. However, the Supreme Emperor didn't even appear, and then the Supreme Emperor's head exploded. The appearance of the three strange people simply changed the situation instantly. Right now King Yu was a bit embarrassed. He was holding onto the Supreme Emperor's head, and his crotch was only covered by a few leaves. If a gust of wind were to blow he would definitely be exposed. Furthermore, this master seems to be dissatisfied with what I did. He still hasn't said anything. Could it be that he is blaming me for taking action on my own? That wouldn't do. After all, it was the first time they met and he didn't bring any gifts. Now he made a mistake again. King Yu looked to the left and to the right, and soon after he pressed the Supreme Emperor's head back into the hole. Soon after he discovered that it seemed that the head wasn't stable at all. Having no other choice, I can only take out the needle and sew it up. However, the group of people below just watched, completely unable to understand what he was doing. Was he humiliating the corpse? Looking at how coquettishly this person was dressed, who would have thought that he would have such a fetish? It made one's scalp go numb. Yi Yuanqing didn't know what he was doing. Didn't he just cut off someone's head? Now he was sewing it back. What was he trying to express? King Yu heaved a sigh of relief and said respectfully, "Master, I've been too presumptuous and killed people without your permission. Now I'm fine." Everyone's jaws dropped to the ground. Everything was fine now. What do you mean it's fine? You've already reattached your head. Does that mean the others are still alive? You're killing someone, yet you're still trampling on their dignity. It's simply infuriating and makes my scalp go numb. However, Dong Huangyu didn't dare to do anything, because he was being stared at by the two people below him. It seemed that if he were to make a single move, his blood would definitely splatter all over the place. This woman, ringing the bell, had actually summoned such a character. This was simply unimaginable. If not for these three people, himself, I must humiliate her 100 times and torture her for 10,000 years. Death was a luxury for her. But now that was just daydreaming. If he could escape, that would be a luxury. Her father had died just like that. He couldn't believe it. Yi Yuanqing, what are you doing? How dare you kill the emperor? Huang Min roared at Yi Yuanqing furiously as he accused Yi Yuanqing. However, Huang Min was mistaken about one thing. Once a person abandoned pity, they would never give in to him again. Therefore, you have disrespected the master. The wind of death will accompany you. Nameless said slowly. He had already given Huang Min the death penalty. Green smoke could be seen coming out from the bottom of Huang Min's pants, and soon after, the pants immediately caught on fire. At first, Huang Min didn't notice it. He only realized it after someone reminded him, and he immediately slapped him. However, the fire grew bigger and bigger until it burned his entire body. Ah! The raging fire crazily burned Huang Min's soul. This kind of pain was much more comfortable than his physical body. Huang Min fell onto the ground and rolled on the ground. Everyone didn't even dare to breathe loudly. This General Yi seems to have fallen into the path of a demon, causing everyone to tremble in fear. Yi Yuanqing didn't stop Huang Min just now because sometimes only by killing can one intimidate others. Just like what I said before, I originally wanted to coexist peacefully with you all, but if that doesn't work, then forget about it. Huang Min stopped moving and laid on the ground like a corpse. The fire was taken away by Nameless. However, Huang Min didn't turn into charcoal and he still looked the same as before. It was just that his soul had already been destroyed, and he probably wouldn't even have the chance to reincarnate. You are called Yi Yuanqing? Someone from Yi family? Dong Huangyu asked gravely, fighting for the last chance to escape. Yi Yuanqing endured the pain and looked at Dong Huangyu. Now that the situation has come to this, what's the point of you asking me who I am? If you're right, then do you know who I am? You? You are the retired emperor. You all can call me the retired emperor, but I am no longer called Huang Yu. I am called Dong Huang Yu. My family name is Dong Huang. I am famous in the 9 provinces and 5 seas. Today you have killed someone from my East royal family. We will not let this matter rest. Family name Dong Huang? When everyone heard this, they were all shocked. It turns out that the family name Dong Huang is the family name of the East royal family. They had long gone to other worlds to develop, and now they finally understood why. Then all the more reason why I can't let you leave, Yi Yuanqing said faintly. Dong Huang Yu, you didn't even listen to a single word I said just now. I am someone from the East royal family. I am an existence that your Yi family cannot afford to offend. Killing you all is as easy as breathing. If you all don't let me leave, you all might die with an intact corpse. Yi Yuanqing. If you are sensible, then let me leave. Yi Yuanqing smiled, and his smile was very beautiful. If I let you leave, I will let you run 39 meters first. Yi Yuanqing suddenly said. This caused Dong Huang Yu to feel happy. As long as I can run out of here, I will be able to go back. At that time, all of you will have to die. Die, 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 die. Dong Huang Yu, who was on the stage, instantly disappeared. Sword Body Young Master Evergreen knew that his master wanted to see how strong he was. Thus, Sword Body Young Master Evergreen grabbed onto the hilt of the sword, then raised it high into the air. In an instant, the sword condensed into a length of 40 meters. The sword pierced through the roof. End of this chapter. Chapter 1209. Die. Young Master Changqing's eyes revealed an ominous glint, and the sword in his hand slashed down. Despicable. Dong Huangling cursed. Dong Huangling, who was 39 meters away, shouted, but he soon became silent. That sword cut him into 2, and even the primordial spirit in his head exploded. That attack was too terrifying. A sword mark was left on the entire palace. Everyone felt that the ground was shaking violently. There was a fight inside. Young Master Changqing kept his sword and stood behind Yi Yuanqing. King Yu and Wu Ming did the same. With such a person standing behind Yi Yuanqing, whoever dares to move even a single hair of his, that person will die. Therefore, Dong Huangling didn't dare to move now. He was afraid that his primordial spirit would fly away and die instantly. Supreme Emperor, are you still not coming out? Do you need me to call you? Yi Yuanqing didn't forget the 2 slaps just now. As a primordial spirit, Dong Huangling didn't know what to do, but he still flew out obediently and turned into a primordial spirit without a physical body. Then, he shut himself up. Yi Yuanqing asked faintly, Supreme Emperor, who do you think is better to sit on this throne? Also, what is the royal inheritance? Young lady, of course the throne is for the capable one. I can see that young lady's face is filled with righteousness, and your strength is extraordinary. You are definitely the best candidate. This throne is something that you should have. Dong Huangling's attitude changed 180 degrees. This is really embarrassing. Under strength we are all lowly. Yi Yuanqing looked at the others and asked faintly, do you all think what the Supreme Emperor said is true? You are the boss now, don't we still listen to you? Whatever you want us to say, we will say it. Everyone followed suit and said all kinds of good things. Shan Junren originally thought that Yi Yuanqing's big brother would come and settle things, and there was no need for Lord Yi to come. It seemed that Lord Ye's strength was even more valiant. His choice was indeed correct. If he had changed sides last night. If I had changed sides last night, I would probably still be among the corpses. Fortunately, I still believe in Lord Yi. Kill him. Yi Yuanqing said faintly. Although Dong Huangling knew that he wouldn't let him go, this was too fast. Therefore, Dong Huangling turned into a small golden ball and ran away desperately. Single character slash. King Yu wielded his black iron saber and slashed out a single character. Upon seeing the blue sky and white clouds, Dong Huang Mausoleum was overjoyed. Soon after, he felt that he had become 2 halves. Everyone in Spirit Capital saw a streak of light appear in the sky. It was so bright that they could see it clearly even in the day. Inside the palace, no one dared to breathe loudly. The people from the royal family felt like they were about to piss their pants. Would this woman kill them? Carry out a large-scale purge. This was especially true for the members of the royal family. Originally, when they saw the Supreme Emperor and the retired Emperor return, they thought that everything would be fine. In the end, all of them were instantly killed with 1 sword and 1 saber. Killing a superior supreme was as easy as killing a chicken. How were mortals supposed to live? Yi Yuanqing slowly walked to the seat in the middle. Eunuch, are you still not going to announce it? The eunuch swallowed his saliva and immediately shouted with his duck-like voice, Yi Yuanqing, become the empress of the gods' world. Long live the empress. Hooray. Long live. As the eunuch shouted, everyone else knelt down and shouted, Long live the empress. Hooray. Long live. This voice broke through the palace and even the entire spirit capital could hear it. The people who supported Yi Yuanqing immediately cheered, and the entire spirit capital became lively. Although they didn't know what happened inside, the officials all shouted, Long live the empress, and that meant everything. Yi family chased the royal family out of the palace. This was the first time in history. How shocking. In the Yi family, Yi Shan had already woken up, and beside him were his sons. Everyone heard it. Yi Shan was completely stupefied, and Yi Chen and the others were the same. Big sister succeeded. Big sister became the empress. Yi Shan smiled. Yuanqing succeeded. I can be at ease now. Inside the palace. Rise. Right now Yi Yuanqing looked a bit like an empress. Although she was still dressed in military attire, it was unable to conceal her imposing manner. Right now Yi Yuanqing wished that he could immediately go and find his big brother, then fiercely throw himself into his big brother's embrace and cry. Of course, those were tears of happiness. Yi Yuanqing thanked his big brother for taking care of him. If not for his big brother, he wouldn't have been able to reach this stage. Firstly, treat everything that happened today as if nothing happened. Within 3 days the royal family will move out of the palace. Also, it is time for this throne to be changed, it is now surnamed Yi. Everyone disperse. Yi Yuanqing's words were very short, but every single sentence he said was the main point. The faces of the members of the royal family were deathly pale, but in their hearts, they were still rejoicing that they didn't get killed. How fortunate. Empress, how are the matters regarding the succession ceremony being arranged? Shan Junren asked respectfully. You all go ahead and arrange it, I have to leave for a while right now. Yes. Yi Yuanqing naturally had to go and find his big brother and tell him this good news that he succeeded. However, Yi Yuanqing didn't bring his 3 little brothers away. He placed them in the palace or at home to ensure the safety of his family. After all, there were only 2 people from the Donghuang family who came, and from the looks of it they looked very weak. If more people came, who knows what the result would be. I have to be careful. Within Wuxia Empire, Yi Hua was sitting in the garden. To be precise, he was lying down. If you were to be seen by others like this, your image would be completely gone. Donghuang Baiji said petulantly, then pinched open an orange and sent it to Yi Hua's mouth. Yi Hua chewed on the sweet orange and then, Tue, there are bones inside, why didn't you squeeze them out? Donghuang Baiji, if another person were to try this kind of man, that person would be able to anger you to the point that you would suffer internal injuries. Yi Hua, I am your wife, not your servant. Donghuang Baiji squeezed out a smile and gave a serious warning. Yi Hua pinched onto Donghuang Baiji's cheeks. What, you are not convinced? Come and hit me then. You bastard, do you think that I don't dare to hit you? See if I don't hammer you to death today. After finished speaking, Donghuang Baiji used her small fists to pound onto Yi Hua's chest. Yi Hua took the opportunity to hug onto Donghuang Baiji, and his hands started getting naughty. Yi Hua, we are outside, don't mess around. Donghuang Baiji immediately held onto Yi Hua. It's fine, no one will come. You? Bastard, you are hurting me. I feel that my chest has swelled up a bit and it feels a bit better. Scram. Big brother, sister-in-law, what are you 2 doing? Yi Hua and Donghuang Baiji immediately looked to the side. Donghuang Baiji's face turned red, then hurriedly stood up and hammered onto Yi Hua. Yi Hua's face had already reached the pinnacle of shamelessness. I am flirting with your sister-in-law, and it was disrupted by you, you mischievous fellow. Hearing that, Yi Yuanqing's face turned red. Right now Yi Yuanqing was in the state of a little sister. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:10. Yuanqing, it seems like you have good news today. Donghuang Baiji smiled. Big brother, sister-in-law, thank you. Yi Yuanqing bowed and said sincerely. Yi Hua was able to discern what she was thinking and said with a smile, Are you surprised? Big brother, you're so annoying, why didn't you tell me earlier, I was almost scared to death. Yi Yuanqing started acting coquettishly. The empress acting coquettishly had a unique style, just like Donghuang Baiji. What's wrong with your face? Yi Hua looked at the blood stain on his little sister's face and couldn't help but ask. Yi Yuanqing smiled. It's nothing, I was beaten up twice but it's not clean yet. After saying that, Yi Yuanqing even wiped his face twice, just that it was getting dirtier and dirtier. Baiji, go and get a basin of water for Yuanqing to wash up. After Donghuang Baiji left, Yi Hua took out a cigarette and lit it. Where's the person who beat you up? Oh, he died. Yi Yuanqing's description was very simple, there wasn't any complicated process. Yi Hua wrinkled his brows and said softly, he must have rung the bell after he was beaten up. Big brother, you won't blame little sister, right? Yi Yuanqing said pitifully. Not only that, I also want to beat you up. Yi Hua pretended to raise his hand. Yi Yuanqing's eyes were closed, but he felt that his head was being patted. Big brother is teasing me again, but I still feel warm in my heart. Yi Hua said helplessly, you are now the emperor, those who you want to kill must be killed, don't keep them and find trouble for yourself. And big brother, I understand, my way of thinking was still too simple. From this matter Yi Yuanqing had a deep understanding. When it's time to be bloody, one must be bloody. Yi Hua nodded his head and threw an orange to his little sister. Alright big brother, that Dong Huang surname that you mentioned appeared today, it was that Huang Feidi's father and grandfather. And? They appeared? Where are they? They were killed by the person inside the bell. Oh, is that so? I originally wanted to ask about the situation. Yi Hua said faintly. Right now, he still didn't dare to conclude that Donghuang Baiji was related to that Donghuang surname. But last night something big happened. A few supremes died and father's whirlpool was broken by one of them, turning him into an ordinary person. Those two were too powerful. I couldn't resist at all, Yi Yuanqing said solemnly. Now that he thought about it, he could still feel a chill running down his spine. Two people? Who are you? Yi Hua directly ignored this biological father of his. I don't have a good impression of him at all, and reckon that even if I were to die, there wouldn't be much of a commotion. Yi Yuanqing said in a deep voice, one of them looks pretty good, his eyes are dark purple, very strange. The other one is super fat, bald, holding prayer beads in his hand. His speech is also very strange, but he uses his mouth to kill. After hearing that, Yi Hua's expression became grave as he asked, does it mean that whoever you want to kill will die, and there won't be any fluctuation of aura? That's right. How did you know? Yi Hua flicked the ash off his cigarette and laughed lightly. This laughter of his carried a bit of self-mockery. Because that fatty is one of Big Brother's subordinates. The one with dark purple eyes is also one of Big Brother's subordinates. He was kidnapped by that fatty and probably brainwashed. Ah. Yi Yuanqing was astonished. I didn't expect that the two people who appeared yesterday night were actually Big Brother's subordinates. Yi Hua let out a sigh. That fatty is called Qing Su, he has already forgotten his identity now. This person is an expert in using poison, which is why you two were unable to sense any fluctuation of aura. Yi Yuanqing had a stupefied look on his face. I originally wanted to take revenge, but in the end the other party was actually Big Brother's subordinate. I have been looking for them these few days as well. I didn't expect that they would run to God's realm. Where are they now? Yi Hua asked gravely. I am about to capture this Qing Su. Big Brother, they came over yesterday night precisely for the teleportation point. They went to an unknown plane, and we do not have any records of that plane. Yi Hua extinguished the cigarette butt. This is a bit troublesome. If they went to another plane, it will be even harder to find them. Furthermore, from what Yi Yuanqing said, Dou Fushi seemed to have become stronger, and Qing Su should have modified it a bit. However, Dou Fushi has yet to reach the level of being able to travel through planes, thus he still has to rely on the teleportation point. For the sake of this subordinate, I am also having a headache. Yi Hua rubbed his forehead, feeling that this time I will have to personally take action. I reckon that Wei Chang is currently in another plane as well. When the time comes, I will have to take care of these two people. At this moment, Donghuang Baiji walked over with a basin of water and said with a smile, Yuanqing, when are you planning to ascend to the throne? I am already making arrangements, it should be in a few days. Yi Yuanqing smiled gently towards Donghuang Baiji. Sister-in-law is truly beautiful. Yi Hua, you have to prepare a congratulatory gift then. Of course. Yi Hua nodded his head. Now that his younger sister has become the empress as her older brother, I have to go and support her. After that, I will go and take care of Qing Su's problem. I will bring Donghuang Baiji along with me so that I can spend some time with her so that she won't say that I didn't accompany her. Yi Yuanqing washed his face, then took care of everything under Yi Hua's treatment. After all, she is now an empress and there are still a lot of things that need to be taken care of. Yi Hua Yuanqing is rather formidable. That's right, becoming an empress at such a young age just like you, my empress. Yi Hua couldn't help but tease. Can't you speak properly? I can't, I just like to see the empress intoxicated under me. Yi Hua. Don't say that when we are outside. Dong Huang Baiji was furious. Yi Hua is a king of words. Yi Hua naturally knew that. Putting away his joking thoughts, Yi Hua said faintly, Baiji, after we are done with Yuanqing's coronation ceremony, how about the two of us go out for a walk and relax? Are you that good? Are you going to make a dirty request again? Yi Hua, I'm telling you, hurry up and dispel those terrifying thoughts of yours. Dong Huang Baiji naturally knew what Yi Hua was thinking. Yi Hua only wants to enjoy himself, humph. Yi Hua hooked onto the empress's chin. Baiji, I like this small mouth of yours. Go and die. After finished speaking, the empress left while panting with rage. Shameless Yi Hua. Yi Hua shook his head. This empress is truly filthy. Did I just kiss her on the lips? What am I thinking about? What an experienced person. However, after hearing the news about Qing Su, Yi Hua was rather happy. He actually went to the god's realm. This is truly not bad. In the past, I, the Supreme Overlord, would always ask my subordinates to deal with Qing Su. This time I, the Supreme Overlord, will deal with Qing Su by myself. After all, the opponent is a top-notch expert like Qing Su, and I cannot be careless. I still have to be careful when dealing with Qing Su. If other people were to go and get plotted against, the situation would be even worse. Just look at that Ligu. This Qing Su is still very strong. However, the necessary arrangements still have to be made. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:11. Therefore Yi Hua called Zhu Tian over. Subordinate pays respect to your honor. I've waited for so long, why haven't I seen anyone attack? What's going on? In actuality, Yi Hua was very gloomy. These few days I have been waiting all along, but in the end, there wasn't even a single person, let alone clamoring. Zhu Tian said respectfully, Your Honor, perhaps, those people are afraid of your honor's might, and that's why they are avoiding the battle. Absolute heaven, you've learned how to flatter as well. Everything this subordinate says is true. Then I will gladly accept it. Zhu Tian lowered his head with a smile. Seems like his honor is in a good mood. In a few days I will leave with Baiji for a period of time. We already know the whereabouts of Qing Su. This time I will personally go out. You guys stay at home and guard the place. Who knows if those people will attack us or not. Also, you guys need to improve your strength. Don't regret it when you are defeated. Your honor is right, I will supervise this area. Your honor can be at ease. Yes, how are the people who went to train? Absolute heaven said in a low voice. 3 of them are heavily injured, while the others are injured to varying degrees. They don't even have time to rest every day. Don't make a move unless it's a matter of life and death. That would be meaningless. Yes. This subordinate understands. Although Yi Hua didn't plan to get involved in this matter, he still had Zhu Tian pay attention to it. Standing up, Yi Hua planned to go and take a look at Gong Yu's situation. This Xiao Tian isn't at home and mother isn't at home either. A woman sitting alone in the bedroom waiting would inevitably be suspected of being depressed. Therefore he still had to go and take a look. It would be bad if little Tian came back and found out that his wife had become an idiot. After arriving at Gong Yu's sleeping quarters, Yi Hua saw that Gong Yu was currently taking care of the flowers and plants, and palace maids were following behind her. Seems different from what I thought. Greetings, Your Majesty. When the palace maids saw the emperor, they hurriedly saluted. Of course Gong Yu was the same. Yi Hua waved his hand and asked the palace maid to stand at the side. If I have any questions I will ask Gong Yu. Gong Yu, how have you been these days? Yi Hua asked faintly. This Gong Yu is the one who is pregnant with the child of the second family in the entire group other than my family. Gong Yu happily said, Thank you for your concern, big brother emperor. I've been fine these past few days. Well, if you're really bored, you can go out of the palace for a walk or go chat with Yu Hua and the others. Gong Yu was a little afraid to go, but she couldn't say it out loud. She respectfully said, Yes, I will go. I'll be going out in a few days. Take care of yourself. Okay, I won't let anything happen to the child. Yi Hua was very gratified. I have seen the change in Gong Yu with my own eyes. This time Xiao Tian is rather fortunate. He was just afraid that there would be too much good fortune for him to enjoy. After chatting for a while, Yihua walked out of the bedroom. I wonder how Qingya and the others are doing. He wouldn't be back for a while. That was good. He could spend some alone time with Baizhi. 3 days later, Yihua and Donghuang Baizhi appeared in Spirit City. However, the two of them changed their appearances slightly. They mainly wanted to hear if there were any reactions to Yi Yuanqing becoming the empress. It was also good for Yi Yuanqing to pay attention. Perhaps this was what a big brother should do. This feeling is really good. Donghuang Baizhi hugged onto Yihua's arm and leaned on him tightly. Just a while ago, I thought that Yihua was just joking around with me, or maybe he was just making a request. Only today did I know that Yihua was really joking around with me. From the looks of it, I have wronged Yihua. At most, I will just be obedient in the future. Baizhi, in the past, I didn't have the chance to properly accompany you. Right now, you should be satisfied, right? Yihua said lightly, and a doting arc could be seen on the corner of his mouth. Yes, I'm so happy I could die. Haha, that's right. Yihua expressed that he was very happy. My woman being happy is just that simple, and it has nothing to do with money. I, the Supreme Overlord, have never had money before, and I don't even know what money is. This is related to martial arts. As long as one's martial arts are deep enough, one would be able to have endless aftertaste. Men should be strong. Always ready. Let's go in and have a cup of tea. Yihua pulled Donghuang Baizhi and walked into a tea house. After finding an ordinary seat and sitting down, Yihua ordered a plate of peanuts and a bottle of wine. Afterward, he listened to what the people around him were saying. Yihua felt that the people that were sitting around him were all grandmaster-level figures. They even know about the matter of adults keeping mistresses outside. Hey, have you guys heard of it? The truth of what happened in the palace this time. Is the process still important? In any case, I feel that the Empress is pretty good. It's true that the Empress is good, but I'm afraid that you all don't know about the process, right? The degree of bloodshed during the process has reached 10 stars. Hearing what you said, I'm curious as well. Just what exactly happened? I'll tell you all about it then, but what about the money for the tea? I'll pay for it. Yihua said faintly. Brother, you sure are generous. Yihua liked to hear these words and he shouted out, I, young Master Yi, will be paying for all the expenses here today. After everyone heard what Yihua said, they went into a daze for a moment. Soon after, everyone started cheering. The boss is indeed different. Donghuang Baizhi let out a light sigh. Even this is happening, this is really enough. Let me tell you all about it. The various abnormal phenomena that happened that day was not a coincidence. At the start, our Empress was completely suppressed. Do you all know why? What? That's because that mysterious East Royal family's people came over to help the East Royal family. Because of that, our Empress was unable to protect us. So there was such a thing. What happened after that? After that, it became even more amazing. Our Prince Yi descended from the sky, and with a shake of his body, he scared a bunch of people to death. Those East Royal family members didn't even dare to say a single word, and they directly offered the throne to Yihua with both of their hands. After hearing that, the corner of Yihua's mouth twitched. This rumor can really be called a rumor. Even my main body came out and my body shook. Donghuang Baizhi, who was at the side, covered her mouth and laughed lightly. What are you laughing at? Yihua stretched out his hand and pinched onto the Empress's cheeks, making it seem as if his appearance wasn't enough to achieve such an effect. Nothing much, I just feel that it is funny, that's all. Donghuang Baizhi couldn't hold it in anymore. Look at those people in the surroundings, they are all praising Yihua to the heavens. Yihua even wanted to smack this woman's but to actually doubt my body. Yihua, what's going on with that East Royal family? Donghuang Baizhi asked curiously. Yihua didn't plan to hide it from Donghuang Baizhi and said lightly, this East Royal family is also known as the East Royal family. East Royal family is their original surname, and every time an emperor abdicates, they would change their name to East Royal family and go to another plane to continue training. Oh, what a coincidence, their surname is actually East Royal family. Donghuang Baizhi mumbled, wondering if I am related to them. Yihua said faintly, Baizhi, I have a feeling that you are related to this East Royal family. Related? What do you mean? Donghuang Baizhi asked curiously. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:12. Yihua asked faintly, do you still remember what happened in the past? Are you talking about Zishan's ex-husband? Donghuang Baizhi asked curiously. Yihua nodded his head. You should be called Marquis or something, right? It is said that he was the one who placed you on earth, and it should be more appropriate to call you imprisoned. Qingya seems to be the same as well. Donghuang Baiji did not say anything. Yihua continued, this Prince Marquis is originally someone from God's realm. Although his status isn't as high as Lingdu's, he is at least a prince. If we were to hand him over to Lingdu's people, it would be easy for us to discover him. However, if we were to hand him over to a prince from another place, it would be much safer. Yihua, are you saying that my father had already started at that time? Donghuang Baiji was a bit astonished. No, starting from the first in your family. Do you have a grandfather? I don't know. In my memory there is only father's generation and father never mentioned anything else. Donghuang Baiji said in a low voice while tightly wrinkling her brows. Yihua stroked onto Donghuang Baiji's hair, then asked in a low voice, how about it? Are you interested in going and understanding more about it? Perhaps your Donghuang family has been framed and hidden on earth. I don't want to go. Donghuang Baiji said lightly. How can I do that? My woman was wronged, and as your husband, I naturally have to help you seek justice. Yihua said coldly. You just want to go and act cool, right? Do you still think that I don't know? Donghuang Baiji said. Yihua said in a low voice, am I that kind of person? I just don't want you to bear any crime. If there's anything, let's solve it together. If there's any hatred, let's use blood to wash it away. This is also worthy of your father. Donghuang Baiji slightly lowered her head. Yihua said lightly, idiot, what are you crying for? Are you very touched? Just properly serve me at night and that will be enough. Donghuang Baiji could be seen raising her head and revealing out a strange smile. This time around, let me act cool. Yihua, fuck, I actually thought that this woman was sad. The result was unexpected. Hubby, no. This is what I discovered. Yihua rejected harshly. It wasn't easy for me to find something that I can do. You just have to stand behind me. Would you have discovered it without me? I've also contributed. I don't care. I'll look at you every time. We'll just stand by the side and not talk. Hubby, let me go this once at most, I will let you have a good time tonight. Donghuang Baiji's eyebrows twitched. From the looks of it, Yihua's heart has been moved. Really? Of course it's true. I'm not like you who knows how to lie to others. Donghuang Baiji pouted her mouth. Alright then. If you make me happy tonight, I'll give you half of the points. Only half. That's out of the question. Alright, what's wrong with giving way to your wife? If it wasn't for us, you can just prepare to be a single dog for the rest of your life. Donghuang Baiji said petulantly. Donghuang Baiji did not know how to dote on her wife at all. Yihua expressed his dissatisfaction. Hee, if you have the ability, why don't you give it a try? Yihua, I see that you have been a bit arrogant recently, don't do stupid things. Baiji, I find that you have been a little arrogant recently. Are you trying to challenge my bottom line? Why don't we get a room and spar? Hee, who's afraid of who? I won't kill you. Donghuang Baiji wasn't afraid at all. I'm just afraid that your legs won't be able to stand stably. Let's go then, my empress. Let's go. However, inside the palace, Yi Yuanqing was currently wearing an imperial robe. Furthermore, it was a specially made female imperial robe, and it seemed to have a different style to it. Right at this moment, Shan Yu was reporting some problems to Yi Yuanqing, and Yi Yuanqing was thinking, didn't Big Brother say that he will be arriving today? Why isn't he here yet? Empress? Shan Yu called out lightly, pulling Yi Yuanqing back to reality. What's the matter? Shan Yu said helplessly, Empress, did you hear what I said just now? I didn't. Shan Yu, this is just like an ancestor. Father even wants me to be her male pet, and even if I'm beaten to death, I won't do it. When the time comes, I will just be thrown into the cold palace by a single sentence. Say it one more time. Shan Yu was a bit absent-minded as he looked at the long report. Say it one more time? I said it for an hour just now, and it was all bullsh*t. This time Yi Yuanqing was listening very seriously. However, Shan Yu said, Empress, I'm worried that someone will come and cause trouble during the coronation ceremony this time around. Are you referring to the Donghuang family name? Shan Yu nodded his head. Other than this family name, is there anything else? Donghuang Baiji said faintly, let's not talk about the fact that there are 3 formidable experts present. Furthermore, my big brother will also be coming this time around. Shan Yu let out a sigh of relief. If Prince Yi is here, everything will be fine. Even if someone from the Donghuang family comes, they will still be safe and sound. Having an extra layer of safety is rather good. Just like that, Yi Yuanqing continued to wait for his big brother. He waited until the sun set and soon after night came. Where did big brother and sister-in-law go? Tomorrow is the coronation ceremony, and the two of you have a mission that needs to be announced. Then, at a tavern, a man and a woman walked out. The man was slightly bending his waist, while the woman had a relaxed look on her face, seemingly to be in a very good mood. Come over and help me up, Yi Hua said petulantly. Dong Huang Baiji snorted, do you know how formidable I am? Dong Huang Baiji. Do you even need to circulate your energy to do this kind of thing? Do you have any moral integrity? So what? Aren't you very happy? Yi Hua was indeed very happy, but because it was too exciting he ended up being defeated again and again. I never expected that after so many years, Dong Huang Baiji would finally release such a big move. It made my legs go soft and my waist also felt a bit painful. Didn't you say that you will give me half of it? I have never seen such a shameless person like you. I learned from you the kind of husband you have, the kind of wife you have. I really have to give up. The two immediately disappeared from the spot and arrived at the imperial palace. Big brother, sister-in-law, you two are finally here. Big brother, what happened to you? You are injured. Just when Yi Hua wanted to explain, Dong Huang Baiji smiled and said, your big brother was too arrogant today, so sister-in-law bullied him. If not for my sister being here, I would definitely let you know what a man is. Yi Yuanqing found it hard to believe. Sister-in-law actually bullied big brother? Big brother looks so miserable right now. Sister-in-law is still the formidable one to be able to bully big brother to this extent. Looking at his sister's pitiful gaze, Yi Hua decided. Tonight I am going to fight the Empress. The kind where I won't rest until one of us dies. Yuanqing, your big brother can't hold on anymore, he needs to rest. Yi Hua, sister-in-law, come with me. Yi Yuanqing supported his big brother up. Big brother's legs seem to have gone soft, it seems like he is badly injured. Yi Hua said lightly to Dong Huang Baiji, I am going to kill you later. End of chapter. Chapter 12-13. I'm the one who said that to you. Dong Huang Baiji said with a smile. In the past, I gave in to you because I didn't want to lose your dignity as a man. But now you don't want to give in to me anymore. You are showing your cards. Now you know how weak you are, right? Yi Yuanqing told Dong Huang Baiji the things to take note of tomorrow, and Dong Huang Baiji expressed that she understood. Big brother, rest well, I will go back first. Don't worry, I will take good care of your big brother. Looking at sister-in-law's strange expression, Yi Yuanqing couldn't help but shiver. Big brother is so pitiful, I should just leave. I wonder if big brother will be able to walk tomorrow. However, Yi Hua planned to teach the Empress how to be a person tonight. However, the next morning. Yi Hua, wake up, the clothes have been sent over. Dong Huang Baiji was incomparably beautiful, but Yi Hua, lying at the side like a corpse, it feels even scarier than 1 versus 4, this is simply too cruel. Yi Hua, stop pretending to be dead, hurry up and wake up, you still have to go up on stage to give a speech today. Yi Hua, go up on stage to give a speech? I reckon that I will need someone to support me up on stage. I didn't expect the Empress to have such a trump card. In the past she was obviously going easy on me and now she is being beaten up so badly. Baiji, let's discuss something. What is it? Don't tell them. Dong Huang Baiji went into a daze for a moment, then laughed out loud to the point where tears were flowing out. Yi Hua shook his head. This move of the Empress is truly hard to guard against. However, it feels really good. Come over and wear my clothes. Yi Hua said gravely. What's the big deal about cheating? Look at me, when did I cheat? Alright, my big master, I will serve you. Dong Huang Baiji's smile had never been seen before, causing Yi Hua to feel very gloomy. After wearing his clothes, Yi Hua drank a pill, then revived. I mustn't lose my face. Yo hubby, you are still drinking pills? I can't take it anymore, your majesty, if you continue to be so arrogant, something bad will happen. Hubby, you love me the most, you definitely won't bully me anymore. Hee hee, now you know to act coquettishly, where did that arrogance you had yesterday go? Yi Hua laughed coldly. Hubby, please forgive me, I won't bully you anymore. Yi Hua. Forget it, it's rare for the Empress to act coquettishly. As a man, no matter what, I have to be a bit more magnanimous. Am I that kind of petty man? He had a big appetite. As the big brother of the Empress, Yi Hua's current identity was rather respectable. In actuality, anyone who was smart would know that. Lord Yi is the boss. Without Lord Yi, How could Yi Yuanqing become empress? On the surface she was the empress, but in secret, Lord Yi was the emperor. On the altar, Yi Yuanqing was dressed in the attire of an emperor. The dragon embroidered with golden silk symbolized majesty, and the dragon crown also looked very domineering. Although it added a feminine flavor, it did not suit the majesty of an emperor. Yi Hua, who was standing below, looked at his little sister and felt gratified in his heart. Yi Yuanqing was more mature than little Tian, but after this incident little Tian would also mature. He was looking forward to little Tian's performance in the future. Shan Junren looked at Yi Hua, who was beside him, and sighed in his heart. This Prince Yi doesn't want to be the emperor himself and actually let his younger sister be the emperor. I don't understand, could it be that he doesn't like me? It's not that he doesn't like me, but the main thing is that I am already the emperor in Kangluo continent. Could it be that I want to run over here and become the emperor? That's too much, it's enough for me to just be an emperor. Yi Hua, look at Yuanqing, he is even more powerful than me. Donghuang Baiji was a bit envious of Yi Yuanqing, to actually become the empress of God's realm. And I am just the empress of a small place. Compared to Yi Yuanqing, I am not even on the same level. Yi Hua said softly beside Donghuang Baiji's ear, when you ride on me you are riding on the entire world. Donghuang Baiji's face turned red, and she couldn't help but pinch Yi Hua. This bastard, there are so many people here, his skin is so thick. Shan Yu, who was standing at the back, saw Donghuang Baiji's action. She actually pinched Lord Yi, and Lord Yi actually didn't seem to be angry at all. This is too mystical. Just what kind of man is this Lord Yi? So mysterious. Yi Hua looked at the altar. Right now the jade seal was being handed over. However, when Yi Hua looked at the sky, he slightly wrinkled his brows. Such an important moment, there is always someone coming to disturb me. This is truly annoying. If I didn't guess wrongly, it should be that person with the surname Donghuang. Previously, I didn't manage to find an opportunity, but now the opportunity is right in front of me. Above the sky, countless golden lights could be seen descending. However, under this dazzling light, a powerful might was concealed, causing people to not dare to look straight at it. In the sky, 8 people stood up. They were all wearing the same uniform, golden robes. However, from the collar, it could be seen that the person at the very front was a government official. The collar was flipped up just like an abalone. Yi Hua felt that these 8 people were only average and they were slightly stronger than that Huang Feidi. However, this was just Yi Hua's point of view. Other people didn't feel the same way. These people are simply even more powerful than the Supreme Emperor. The aura that they released was just like a gale, causing people to tremble in fear. Who is that woman below? The man at the very front had a very delicate appearance. The corners of his eyes were tilted upwards, giving off a very feminine feeling. Coupled with his fair skin, he lost a bit of masculinity. This was Donghuang Qingru. Donghuang Qingru had a very feminine name. Yi Yuanqing raised his head and looked towards the sky. This group of people came aggressively, and they didn't even put everyone in their eyes. Wu Ming, young Master Evergreen, and King Yu, who were standing at the side, were already getting restless. As long as they say a single word, I will take their lives. However, the Empress has yet to say anything. Yi Yuanqing had guessed that something unexpected would definitely happen today or maybe in the future. However, he didn't expect that something unexpected would still happen today. My name is Yi Yuanqing. Donghuang Qingru's gaze turned grave. A person with the surname Yi. Why are you wearing these clothes? Yi Hua slowly walked out of the group and said indifferently, who said that people with the surname Yi can't wear these clothes, and who are you? Where did this monkey come from? Audacious. This is the head guard of the vestibule. Donghuang Qingru. If you are sensible, hurry up and kowtow and commit suicide. A man behind Yi Hua shouted out. After hearing that, Yi Hua went into a daze, then asked curiously, oh? Then is there a head guard of the vestibule? You know of the Donghuang Qi? Donghuang Qingru asked confusedly. F***K, there really is such a title, this is too careless. Just who was the one who came up with such a ridiculous name? Aren't they afraid of being laughed at by others? However, this group of people really does have the surname Donghuang, that is great. I don't know you and I'm not interested in knowing you. Are you all from the 9 provinces and 5 seas? Yi Hua asked curiously. End of this chapter. Chapter 12-14. Donghuang Qingru's gaze froze. She didn't say anything. However, looking at Dong Huang Qingrou's current appearance, Yi Hua already knew that they were really from the 9 provinces and 5 seas, which meant that they were together with Meng Yao. I wonder if Qing Su and Wei Chang are in this place. It would be best if they are in the 9 regions and the 5 seas. When the time comes, I'll deal with all of them at once so that I won't have to run around. Speak, what do you all want? Yi Hua asked faintly. Dong Huang Qingrou smiled calmly and said, don't you know why I'm here? A few days ago the Dong Huang Mausoleum and the Dong Huang clan came down, but they haven't returned yet. They must be dead by now. Yi Hua laughed lightly. Your feeling is correct, they have already gone to hell to have fun. How dare you? How dare you kill the people of the Eastern royal family? Dong Huang Qingrou's eyes focused and immediately released a terrifying aura. This aura was much stronger than that of the East Emperor Mausoleum. At least that was what Yi Yuanqing felt. Dong Huang Qingrou suddenly looked towards Dong Huang Baiji, who was behind Yi Hua. Dong Huang Qingrou slowly retracted her aura and her brows slightly wrinkled. You are? Dong Huang Qingrou could sense a very pure bloodline from Dong Huang Baiji's body. Only those with the Eastern Emperor bloodline were qualified to possess such a pure bloodline. People like Eastern Emperor Mausoleum and the others could only be considered as a side branch of the Eastern Emperor clan. Yi Hua did not make a sound. Seems like this person seems to have discovered something. That would be for the best. Seeing that Yi Hua did not say anything, Dong Huang Baiji said, my name is Dong Huang Baiji. Your surname is Dong Huang? Dong Huang Qingrou was even more confused. The Eastern Emperor family didn't seem to have any orphans in the outside world. Now, a woman with a very pure bloodline actually appeared in the Eastern Emperor family. This was a little unclear. Dong Huang Baiji said faintly, I have already said it earlier. Who is your father? Dong Huang Qingrou asked curiously. Dong Huang Pa. Dong Huang Pa? There was no such person in the orthodox lineage, so how could this woman have such a pure bloodline? Dong Huang Qingrou didn't beat around the bush and asked in a deep voice, why do you have such a pure bloodline? Along with what Dong Huang Qingrou said, Yi Hua and Dong Huang Baiji knew that there might really be a connection between the two of them. Dong Huang Baiji also wanted to know the reason, thus she said in a low voice, I don't know. Looks like you'll have to make a trip with me. Dong Huang Qingrou said faintly. This was related to the problem of losing her bloodline. She couldn't afford to be careless. Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. This set of actions was as smooth as flowing water. That slightly tilted cigarette was like a boss, not putting anyone in his eyes. If Yi Hua had to say what posture was the most handsome and pretentious, Yi Hua said that he was not snapping his fingers, but lighting a cigarette. Especially when he took the first sip, his slightly narrowed eyes revealed a cold, killing intent. I think that you are mistaken about one thing. This woman is one of my people, and it doesn't seem to be appropriate for you to bring her away just like that, right? Yi Hua said faintly. I can't appear too radical, right? I can't appear to be too eager, right? Dong Huang Qingrou was completely unable to sense Yi Hua's aura, and she thought that Yi Hua was just an ordinary person. After all, in a place like this, it wasn't strange for there to be ordinary people. Humph? Do I need your permission to take someone away? Just how noble is my Eastern Emperor clan? Are you even worthy to be together with someone with such a pure bloodline? Everyone who was present took in a breath of cold air. It was hard for them to digest what they heard just now. All in all, this Eastern Emperor clan is a very powerful person. Even the Emperor is just a small soldier over there. Just look at what this person said just now. Furthermore, I didn't expect that Prince Ye's woman is actually a member of the Eastern Emperor clan as well. Listening to this person's tone, her bloodline is rather pure. If that's the case, it would be incredible. Yi Hua slightly narrowed his eyes, then pulled Dong Huang Baiji into his embrace and kissed her. This was Yi Hua's usual method of acting cool. Using a woman to act cool, although it was a bit low, a woman like Dong Huang Baiji was indeed able to give him face. Furthermore, these people even raised Dong Huang Baiji's identity, making the feeling even more different. Dong Huang Baiji still doesn't know who Yi Hua is, showing off his own wife. I'm really impressed. But who asked me to be so good-looking? It is normal for me to show off a bit in front of my husband. Thus, the current scene was Dong Huang Baiji hugging onto Yi Hua's neck, and the two were currently kissing passionately. When Yi Yuanqing saw his big brother and sister-in-law, his face turned red. Big brother and sister-in-law are really shameless. There are so many people looking at them and they actually started kissing. However, Dong Huang Qingrou, who was in the sky, had a gloomy expression. This man is actually profaning such a pure bloodline. This is simply intolerable. Dong Huang Qingru could be seen stretching out her finger, and a golden light instantly condensed on her fingertip, which then instantly attacked towards the back of Yi Hua's head. Dong Huang Baiji sensed the golden light, and she opened her beautiful eyes and looked towards Dong Huang Qingru. When the latter was looked at by Dong Huang Baiji, her entire body seemed to have stiffened. A huge three-headed golden crow could be seen condensing behind Dong Huang Baiji. This scene gave everyone a fright, and even Dong Huang Qingru was stupefied. Roar! The three-headed golden crow let out a furious roar, and the golden light instantly turned into thin air. However, Dong Huang Qingru and the others were all forced to retreat for over 10 steps, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of their mouths. The void in the sky gradually disappeared, but everyone had yet to regain their senses. This was the first time Yi Yuanqing saw his sister-in-law like this. Yi Yuanqing's face was filled with astonishment. So sister-in-law is actually this powerful? I truly didn't expect this. That three-headed golden crow just now was so terrifying. It seemed as if it was able to tear the world apart. Yi Hua let go of Dong Huang Baiji's red lips and said in a low voice, "We agreed that we would each take half of the loot. Then I will start first." Dong Huang Baiji laughed lightly, then kissed Yi Hua once again, indicating to him to calm down and to give in to his wife. Yi Hua dotingly pinched onto Dong Huang Baiji's cheek, then looked towards the people who were not far away. "I feel that they seem to have been scared silly. How can this be? I have not even started yet. You all have already been scared silly by my wife. This isn't good, right?" Dong Huang Qingru was indeed scared silly to the point that she peed her pants. That huge void just now. Three-headed golden crow. This is the symbol of the family head. This woman. How can this be? Could it be that she activated her bloodline? That's impossible. Other than the family head, how can there be someone else who is able to activate her bloodline? Furthermore, that three-headed golden crow just now seemed to be even more terrifying. Just what is the background of this woman? However, right now there is only one thing that I need to do. Dong Huang Qingru could be seen kneeling down on one knee. When everyone behind her saw this scene, they all kneeled down as well. When everyone saw that those people actually kneeled down, they all had astonished expressions on their faces. Why did they kneel down? Could it be that they are admitting defeat? Are they admitting defeat before the battle even started? Right now Yi Hua was very unhappy. Dong Huang Baiji had snatched away all of the limelight, and there is completely no room for me to display my skills. End of this chapter. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.